as a treat?
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy that we all just kind of happened to meet here. I guess we might as well.
True. Yeah.
This
Sorry.
session is Aang and Hylas's building inspector session.
We'll do a little bit of that. It will not be only that.
I wonder what wacky antics we'll get into. I'm expecting us to find something horrific
Like a
in
completely
somebody's...
unrelated crime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get wrapped up into something.
We're gonna find a
wild.
magical meth lab down there. And neither of them are gonna know what the fuck a meth lab even is. So they're just gonna like breeze on past it.
This
Well, this don't
entire
feel right.
party on meth would be fucking nightmare. Pick any of them. It would be horrible.
I gotta cook.
I like. Question to Amy, note taker. Did you?
Shit. Hi, hold on.
You don't have to note down anything, but if you have your notes, I could
do.
open them. Actually,
You should have access. All of you, by the way, have access to the notes. It's in the link, and you can edit it. By the way, just saying. Helpful fact.
Well, I'm not sure what's up with that tone, but
I'm joking. It's in jest.
I did edit it once during a session,
yeah.
and you were like, "Wait, what's going on? I have edit requests. What's going on?" So,
because I don't know why it was weird. It should already allow you guys to. I don't know. OneNote hates me, and I'm
lets me do it.
fed up with it.
I'm fed up with it. Continues to use OneNote.
Because then I'd have to
Google Docs is
transfer
right
all
there.
of it. But then it's not all together, and it's not separate. And I don't like that it doesn't let me put pictures in
Where is
easily.
it?
But yeah, you wanting to add something, or do you want me to look for something?
No, I needed to look up the exact names for some locations. I believe it might be on the section before, but there were 2 laboratories that Willow saw advertisements for.
Oh, I don't remember if I got those names.
I don't recall those names being said either.
Yeah.
Really? I swear I said them. And I can't remember what I said if I did say them.
I think you gave the name of one, but it was like something innovations. That's the one I remember. I don't remember a second one.
Okay. I will note it down now. It's
I'm trying to look for it.
I think it was called Future Innovations.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like the word future would have stuck in my brain as weird.
I can't remember what it was, and it's driving me crazy. But there's the 2 laboratories.
I will be right back. I have to handle it.
Is the other one? I think it was.
Lab. That's all. Searching for lab just takes me to Blood and Neon.
Makes sense.
Whatever. It's not a huge issue because I can just rename them now, and I'll write them down on my end too.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, Blood and Neon is just what happens when the weirding was actually just a comet that fell. It shot you into the future instead.
90 years into the future, there's a comet that makes the weirding too.
Electric Boogaloo.
There we go. I need to look up a name for a character who I forgot about.
Oh, I forgot that was part of my
Yes.
background.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
There we
I need to ask about it more.
What is it?
Reading text blocks sometimes remind you of things.
Something, reading the card.
hmm My Empty Whispers background, I feel
What does
like
that
can
do?
apply. It's like a boost to like abilities and stuff, but also gave me trained in occultism and planar rift lore. And
Oh.
we agreed, I think at some point in the planar rift lore, you were applying it to something.
Yes.
You get planar rift lore check to sense planar rifts, even if you aren't specifically investigating or searching for them, as well as locations where magic has been used to remove the memory of an object or creature from existence.
That would be important, huh?
Yep. Forgot that little tidbit. It's like, let me just click on this and remind myself what this does, because I don't remember anymore. Yep.
Okay, I'll be
What
right
the
back.
fuck?
Food is here.
Everyone's being right back.
Now I could go get some pudding.
Listen, I've been here. Okay? Okay? I've earned to
on,
be right
Joe,
back.
this is your
Chew.
time to get a snack too.
I don't have any snacks.
Oh,
Do you have a beer?
well, that's sad.
Go get a beer.
That before you said, well, that's sad. That O was just like, oh, I have snacks. Can't believe you don't.
I do. I showed up with snacks. I got way too many Oreos.
Ooh, Oreos.
What kind of Oreos? Regular Oreos?
It's weird. So some of them are normal Oreos, and some of them appear to be. I hesitate to say double stuff. This looks like way too much stuff.
Oh, there's never enough stuff.
Same. I love the stuff.
I still remember
But
there
that's the
was
best part.
like an entire, when I was in AP Stat in high school, we had an entire project for a day that was around seeing if double stuff and triple stuff Oreos were actually double and triple stuffed.
Whoa. And your findings?
The triple stuff is actually more accurately triple stuff than double stuff is.
Is
Double
double stuff more than double or
less.
less?
Less.
That's
More
what
like
a ripoff.
1.5, 1.75, something like that, where triple stuff is
Hello?
much closer to 3.
I guess I'm gonna have to start buying triple stuff.
I don't even know
Yeah, I
that they
guess
make
so.
triple stuff anymore.
I haven't seen it,
Oreos?
and I know they have
Yeah.
mega stuff, which is
Mhm.
I will say that is probably my upper limit on the amount of stuff.
Agreed. You gotta have some cookie.
I feel like
Yeah.
they swapped from triple to like mega and shit because people like came back and said like false advertising, and they're like, we're not dealing with this bullshit. We're not giving you a number anymore.
Yeah, they won't. They can't say double. They leave double stuff because everyone recognizes it, and then they're just like, fine, fuck you guys. We're not putting math on it. Y'all calculated and found us wanting.
I've gotten weird though. Like I love Oreos still, but I like the lemon Oreos better than I like chocolate these days. It's not like I like chocolate any less, because I still love chocolate, but lemon ones just hit different.
The lemon ones are very good.
I'm not a huge fan, but I can see how they're appealing.
Same. I've honestly not found an Oreo that I don't like. Like their s'mores ones. Ugh, so good.
I love their mint ones.
I want a s'more one.
Oh,
I can't do mint. I can't do mint anything.
I remember liking the birthday cake flavor, like back when I was in.
That's the one I can't do.
Birthday cake, I like if it's like really cold. Like if you put the Oreos in the fridge and let them get cold. Birthday cake, I'm okay with.
It's like way too sweet. Last time I had it, I was probably like 19. I could handle that sort of thing.
I'm sad because they're discontinued now, but I really wanted to try the Coca-Cola Oreos.
They were.
I didn't want to buy I didn't want to buy a whole fucking pack. I've heard only bad things, but that only makes me more curious.
Okay, so it doesn't. You know how when you drink, because you drink like soda water and stuff too. So I know you probably know this. When you have carbonation that's really strong, and there's like a bitter on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
It was Oreos with the bitter on the back end. It's like it felt like they were trying to put carbonation in there somehow, which you can't do because it is not liquid. And it just tasted horrible.
I'm so curious now, though. I just want to know.
I'm really vibing with whatever this music is you have going in the game room.
It is peaceful, atmospheric music. I'm trying to find one that's the right kind of peaceful.
I need to.
Yeah, this is a bit whimsical.
Buy my set of Girl Scout cookies for the year. I just remembered that.
You're in the good Girl Scout cookie manufacturer town too. Did you know that? Did you know that there's 2 different cookie manufacturers?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know more.
Yeah, so there's 2 main cookie manufacturers that make Girl Scout cookies. One that gives them the fun names like Samoa's and stuff, and one that uses the more descriptive names like I think they're called like coconut stripes or some shit like that. But the North has the plain ones, and the South has the actually good ones. I don't know what they're doing on the West Coast. That's beyond me.
That's beyond the scope of this TED Talk.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's like good and bad based on fun names versus not.
Well,
really,
also
like,
cookie
morality.
quality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They also sometimes have different. They discontinued these, but I really love them. They were called lemonades. And you could only get them in the South. And oh my god, they were incredible. They were my favorite cookie by far. Also, the s'mores cookie was a sandwich cookie in the North, but in the South they had a graham cracker dipped in marshmallow, dipped in fudge, which was way better.
See.
Hell yeah. But now that we're all here, late start, that's okay. Everyone's snacked.
Sorry.
I want to insert one last thing about Girl Scout cookies because it's gonna fucking be eating in the back of my brain. If you go to Dollar General, if you have Dollar General near you, their store brand cookies are the same manufacturer. They just sell it under the Dollar General store brand for like way cheaper.
Oh.
Understood.
Life hack.
It's only like I think the like main 3 or 4, like the Thin Mints, Samoa, Tagalong. I think maybe one other, but Dollar General has the same cookies.
Okay. And with that, go get some Girl Scout cookies. I might. But
I just had a wonderful idea for Angenhilus' guy's gimmick.
Oh no.
That would be pretty funny, actually.
Completely unrelated.
Wouldst thou like to partake in Girl Scout cookies?
Get back to the fucking like inn, and Aang has already taken over the kitchen and like immediately grabs Pierre, like, "Hey, I promised cookies to people, and now I have to give them to them. You're helping."
If you let us in your basement,
I'm
we'll give you
literally
cookies.
contractually required to make them.
You are being recruited. Please do not resist.
Pierre, we're starting a new business in Murkock.
Fast.
Okay.
Joe's gonna kill us if we delay anymore.
So, last time, you guys finally made it to the Sisterhood of Reclamation convent and, like, not really boarding house, but it's pseudo commune. It's a pseudo commune, but mostly for women and disparaged peoples. at this commune or convent, you found a person who connected to two of y'all's pasts in an interesting way, which was Anissa, who seemed to be a relative of Agatha, who perished many weeks ago as you set out from Termarkt. Aside from that, Anissa gave you a tour of the site and showed off some of the things that the convent has to offer and some of the people therein. You met a particular woman by the name of Sister Rosemary, who is in the garden. And as you were all touring, Michonne stayed behind to talk to Sister Rosemary for a minute, with which she got a little bit flustered and exited the conversation very quickly. But after that, Michonne quickly joined up with the rest of the crew, and I think we left off with the decision point of Abby basically being given the floor of, hey, what do you think? And deciding if she wanted to stay here or not.
Well, we were gonna talk to, I think, another sister at some point. We cut off before that.
Yes, you're right. You were going to talk to Madame Sonia, who is the basically Mother Superior / keeper of the place. Stop crying. Cream is crying. She's upset. So, you were going to talk to Madame Sonia, who is the de facto one in charge, so to speak. Going to see her, you would see a very large woman. She is pretty tall. Not as tall as, obviously, some of you, but she is still quite tall, about like 5'9", and very broad. And she has like long curly black hair, and she wears a bandana to pull it back so it's kind of contained. She wears very colorful, drapey sort of garb, very Sola core, I think. But when you go to see her, she, of course, I assume Anissa is like leading the way for all of this.
Yeah, she's taking them there.
Okay. So going to see her, she typically stays in one of the activity rooms where they will have like any sort of like supplies for artisanry or any sort of like it's kind of like the general hangout space where you can read a book or work on a craft or play music or hang out with friends. It is like a very chill vibe. And you can see her sitting to the back, talking with a handful of women, like clearly sharing some fun story as they're all like talking, and like she's making big sweeping hand gestures. She talks with her hands very clearly, and as she is speaking to them, and you can't quite hear it, she makes a big gesture, and they all break out into raucous laughter. And then from across the room, she sees Anissa like pointedly looking at her and walking towards her. And so she will excuse herself from the conversation, and she'll come to greet you at the midway point in the room, and she'll walk up and say, "Oh, hello! And who are you all? Being led around by Sister Anissa. It's good to see you, sister."
So I'll give a little bow before turning to the rest of them.
Willow will give a nod and offer a hand to shake and introduce herself. And look towards the others, see if they're also wanting to talk or if she's also in charge of talking for them right now.
Pierre will introduce himself. Awkwardly, like,
Pedro.
I'm here.
Pedro, introduce yourself. Sorry, I'm eating pizza.
Just trying to give you a way out.
Yeah, sorry.
Abigail will also introduce herself, just kind of sheepishly, like standing, I imagine, next to or close to Anissa, and hold her hand out for a shake. And of course, Madame Sonia will like wrap her hands around Abigail's one hand and like give her a pat on the wrist. It's a pleasure to meet you. And she turns to you, Willow, and says, "Yeah, I assume Willow introduced herself as Willow Delane, right?"
Yes. Yes.
So Madame Sonia turns to look at you and says, "You're a Delane from the Delane family, yes?"
She'll nod. Yes, unfortunately. Hold on. Fucking hell.
Find it. Find the voice.
Yes, I am. My brother is the one that primarily comes through town, but, well, we've come here in particular to see your convent.
She like gestures broadly to the entire room, just kind of like, "Here it is." And she's like, "Well, I hope you enjoy what you've seen. And I hope that Sister Anissa has been good company to you. I trust she has."
She nods. She's been rather helpful. And I'd say that you are already appealing to, is it Abigail? Yes, Abigail.
Yes.
To Abigail here. She's considering joining.
Oh, that's why you're all here. I was wondering what a Delane would have to come to a place like this.
Well, just kind of like put an arm around Abigail and kind of like squeeze her shoulders a bit. They're roughly the same height, so it's only just slightly awkward. Yes, well, I'm also in the philanthropic mood, so I suppose I can also drop off a little bit of gold if you're in need of it.
We are always accepting donations, but don't go out of your way.
She just kind of like waves her hand, kind of like, just, don't worry about it.
She turns to Abigail and says, "Well, little one, you've come to tour the grounds and see if this is a good fit for you. Many of the women here would love to have someone new to talk to. It is a comfortable space." And Abigail like listens as very intently as Madame Sonia talks about the grounds and talks about the history and talks about how like she kind of fought for the space for people to have. Like Madame Sonia, she did not build it. The building is largely constructed of stone. She did not physically build it, but she did have a very strong hand in taking the space and utilizing it for some kind of like refuge, making something peaceful and reliable for some of the people who need a space like that in Murkot. And Abigail is like enthralled with this, listening with intent and just like enamored with the history and with how much Madame Sonia has done and with all of the people here who seem to enjoy it. Like there are some men here. It is not like strictly a convent, but there are mostly women and children, and it is like there is no sour note really in this whole place. At least none that Madame Sonia can find, and she seems to have a nose for it, or at least she implies she does. And Abigail is just like you can see the little light in her eyes. Like this is a space where she can belong, and it is a space where she does not have to fear about anything. She could she doesn't know anyone, but she feels like she could get to know them and feel welcome. And after a good few minutes of like further selling you on the idea, Madame Sonia would stop and then kind of put a hand on her hip and give a look to Abigail and very earnestly ask, Do you want to stay? Is this going to be a good fit for your home? Could it be your home? And Abigail, like, kind of stunned, will, not really knowing what else to do, she kind of turns to the rest of the group, like, as if to ask permission, like, is that allowed? Could I pick this place?
Willow's hanging back, watching this interaction, and there's a little bit of a smile on her face. It's like arms crossed, and she'll incline her head a little bit. Yeah, don't look at us. It's your life. It's what you would want to do. You think you're comfortable here and would like being here? We're not going to stop you.
She will, like, look very confidently at you, Willow, and she seems excited at what you told her. Does anyone speak up or give her any sort of discerning look, like they don't think this is a good idea?
No. So I have a question.
Okay.
Paige would want to see if she can vibe check, see if Abigail is happy here.
Sure. Roll me a perception check.
Well, that's going to be a no.
Oh. From the affect, from her affect, you can pretty easily assume she's happy.
Okay.
There might be some anxiety or some misgivings she has, but you're not sure. But she seems outwardly pretty excited.
Okay.
Best you can tell.
Yeah, well. Abigail's decision. Nods along.
Okay. If she sees no looks of dissent or sees no hesitation in anyone else's eyes, she will turn back to Madame Sonia, and she'll turn first to Anissa, and she, like, bows her head a little bit, and she'll say, "Thank you for showing us around. I really like this place. It just feels good, you know?"
Of course, child. It's been a welcome home to many, myself included.
She smiles at you, and then she'll turn to Madame Sonia and say, "I would really like to stay here if you'd have me." And Madame Sonia claps her hands together and just goes, "Of course. We can make a room for you post-haste." And she will turn to either you, Anissa, or to some nearby sisters off to the side and hail them to get a room ready. Set one up for a new guest. And they will bustle off to prep the room. And if no one intervenes, Madame Sonia is going to take Abigail, like, put her arm around her shoulders and start to whisk her away and talk to her more and just kind of get to know this person who's going to be joining them, this new person.
Before she grabs Abigail completely, Willow will just kind of, like, give her another, like, squeeze around the shoulders and, like, kind of not actually whispering and hiding, but kind of, like, conspiratorially, kind of, like, duck her head down. You'll come back by tomorrow and take you on a proper trip around the town before you get whisked away into convent life.
She, like, blinks for a second and nods, like, "Yeah, I would like to, and thank you again for the clothes." And, like, tugs on the new fit.
Willow just kind of, like, waves a hand. Oh, don't thank me yet. I imagine Paige is going to have you try on at least 30 more outfits tomorrow.
She smiles and, like, kind of laughs to herself and will tuck some hair behind her ear to kind of get it out of her face. And she will turn to look at the rest of the group, and she'll turn to you, Willow, and she will give you a hug.
Oh.
Thank you.
She'll hug her back and get a little pat on the back.
And she will.
Safe.
She pulls away from the hug and says, "I'm safe because of all of your efforts." And she will turn to the rest of the group, and one by one, she will go through everyone here and give everyone a hug and thank them. After she gives everyone a hug and thanks them, she steps away and will kind of look a little awkward and guilty, and say, "I really wish Aang and Hylas were here. I'd like to thank them too, but you'll come by tomorrow? And they'll be there?"
Well, not. You'll be able to see them before we leave town. And, well, we're waiting here for Maddie as well, so you'll be able to say goodbye to her too.
Thank you.
Make sure that she comes.
Good. She will smile and accept your answer. And then she'll turn to Madame Sonia, and Madame Sonia will whisk her away to talk your ear off. And you are all left with Sister Anissa, your new, current guide in this area, who still has probably some lingering questions for you all, if not you all have a few lingering questions for her.
Both.
Both is good. It would not be unreasonable to have a time to break and get food, which you can do at the convent, and then discuss what things you have to ask over a meal, perhaps.
This sounds like a good idea.
As everyone's kind of lingering before leaving, Anissa will ask, "How long are you planning to stay in the city?"
Willow just kind of looks around. Well, I do have a little bit of business I should attend to while I'm here, and we are waiting for a friend. And she kind of tilts her head. Could she, because the note that she got from Maddie was not specific with a time, but could she make a guesstimate by, triangulation?
Looking at a map?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guessing from where you estimate Dark's tower to be, looking at a map, you would guess if Maddie is hoofing it, and Maddie makes will not make exceptions for slow travel. If she wants to be somewhere, she cuts straight through. The only exception would be if there's a huge mountain in the way or an ocean. She will go straight. She will walk in a straight line. So if you had to cut straight from Dark's tower down, accounting for mountains and cliffs that were in the way, it would take about 6 days, almost a week. Maybe less if she's hurrying, but probably a week.
So Willow just kind of tilts her head side to side. She's considering it. And on top of the business, we're waiting for somebody that should arrive in roughly a week, so somewhere around that length.
I would be honored to support you all while you are here within Murcott. I can show you around.
I think we'd be happy for a local to tell us where we need to go and shouldn't go. Looks over to Paige for agreement.
Yeah, she nods. She fucking mission accomplished. They're just chilling here now.
And any place that might be open to a little bit of a performing act that you might know. mage over there is rather talented and has been off the stage for a little too long, I imagine.
Jim, I need a list of bars.
Oh,
Places with open mic nights.
I am 3 steps ahead of you. So I will send
What?
you a list of all the locations in Lower Murcott that you are aware of. Let's see here. Where's this one?
Where's this one?
Actually, it's probably easier if I get you a screenshot because it is organized on a screenshot. But I'll do both, just in case you want this incredibly ugly formatted
You got
message that I
options.
copy pasted.
I'll take it.
Also, if you have an idea for a location that you think would be cool and fitting for the area, I am willing to hear about it. If you want to just fucking ad lib, like there's this kind of place in this corner of the, the location, like I'm down.
The cat cafe. Sorry, a bunny cafe.
A bunny cafe in the lower end of Murcott.
It's hey, Weirdwood.
Fair.
You made this world.
That I did. Fair enough.
Mhm.
Well, if you're looking for a really good show, there's Domains. There's also Crooks, but it's not necessarily the cleanest place. But it's open to everyone. She looks around at different members of the party.
Really just gestures for Paige because that's her fucking neck of the woods. That's what she does. It's her choice where she's performing. But I think also while this is happening, Willow is reaching into her coin purse and collecting a donation for the convent to hand to whatever sister would take them.
I imagine they have like collection plates
Mhm.
throughout, like in the halls and stuff.
Yeah. For sure. They'd have little collection plates like towards like the entrance off to the side where you can leave little donations, specifically at the entrance and in the main thoroughfare areas like this kind of community room and in the food hall.
Willow promised. So Willow will. Well, I suppose we leave it up to you whether or not you'd want to see what's in the food hall here if you're particularly hungry for something you've not had in a minute. My coin, considering the topic of conversation.
Sorry, was that to Anissa?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look at this list again. Hang on.
I'm adding one more thing on there like as we speak because I had an idea and this would also be in there.
Beautiful. There's a great place in the low end.
Lead the way then.
And off they go to the High Glass.
The High Glass. Mm-hmm. The High Glass is the fanciest tavern you'll get in basically all of the tent lands. That said, it is not like black tie only. But the High Glass, as you are heading off to it, it's not actually that far because the low end of I keep wanting to say Termarked, but it's not. In the low end of Murcott, it's just like a stone's throw away, kept up in the southern portion. And as you go to see it, you see a very nice, like, it looks on the outside kind of like a Western style tavern, but the wood and the actual like construction of the building is very well kept. It's not like an old rusty wooden shack. It's like a well maintained white wooden constructed building, with like standards, like little like a deck on top. And walking inside, it's a very open floor. There's a piano in the corner. There's a very nice, well stocked bar. It is a pretty good upstandard kind of place. Like you could definitely see something like this being very popular in Termarkt. And like being kind of early in the day, it's pretty empty. There's still a handful of people, stragglers in here, but like everyone is well, like pretty, or the people who work here, the like actual servers and bartender are dressed very well. There's no one at the piano yet, unless any of you want to try and go there. There's no performer right now. But the High Glass is a choice location.
Is this similar level, better, or worse than their family's tavern, do you think?
It is like 1 or 2 steps up in terms of fancy. It's not like it puts your tavern to shame. It's similar in the kind of affect. It seems like they would serve similar guests, but somebody would like go to this tavern and keep their tie nice and tight to their neck rather than undo it for like a chill drink on in the evening time.
Gotcha. I feel like Paige has, usual pleasant expression. However, she's grown up in the tavern. She works in one. She is looking at this place with that kind of like eye of the like, okay, I work in this industry. Let me look. Are there rags in the buckets?
You for a fact, Paige, the piano in the way that it's situated, it is set up on like it's not a big stage, but it is a stage. It's a very minor stage with like a 4-inch rise. And it's kind of like pushed towards the corner center of the room so that people will see it, and it would have better acoustics for people who are singing or performing or perhaps playing the piano. So you could, if you wanted, you could try to plug a show here.
Okay. She's calculating this.
Opportunities.
There are opportunities here. There's a hum of approval from her.
But you can all stroll in, grab drinks, whether they're alcoholic or not, and find a nice table to seat yourself. Is there any in particular fancy drinks that anyone would want? Because it is still pretty early.
What time is it?
Oh, wait. No, wait. Because I haven't been moving the time tracker. So you guys would have done your shopping and then gone to the convent. So you guys are, it's probably like lunchtime. It's probably like 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, somewhere in there.
I mean, it's not dinner time, so Willow's just getting tea.
Fair enough. But you guys get your various drinks, whatever they may be, and find your spot in the High Glass. And I mean, I will hand the floor to you all for whatever questions you may have for Anissa and whatever questions Anissa may have for you all.
Amy, can you remind me? You didn't give the full details of what happened to Agneta,
No.
is that correct?
No, just that I think it was just shared that it happened and they were there and they're sorry for your loss. And she's still sus, by the way. She did signal to Willow that Anissa is a little sus. Because how the fuck did you know your sister's already dead? But yeah.
Well, Anissa's not going to start with questions. So she's just going to kind of lightly sip her drink.
I feel like... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You've not talked much.
Uh, I feel like Paige would open up with very pleasant small talk for Anissa. Just very baseline. Um, the usuals like, how long have you been here? Like how do you like the convent and all that. Very very benign conversation, just so that there's no silence.
Yeah, Vanessa is not starting in on questions. Willow will. And it's like, okay, what's the city like? What's interesting here? What's been going on? Like, just like, fucking, as soon as Anissa ends a thought or Willow deems she has said enough about a thought, there is a new question until somebody stops her.
Fucking let her breathe, Willow.
No.
If you think of a question about the city that a specific question that Willow would probably ask, then I would be happy to feed Anissa the answers.
I will write
Thank
up a
you.
list for you to answer between this session and next session.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a Q&A day with Joe, everybody.
Okay. But there's some small talk. There's some exchanging of pleasantries. There's probably a little bit of like, how long have you lived in town? What do you do here? What kinds of things do you like to do? What do you do for the convent? And then bits of exchanging back and forth with like, what did you do? Are you from Termarkt? Were you always from Termarkt? What do you do there? You also have a tavern? Whoa! And like,
Oh, crazy.
kind of that give and take. What would be some key points of information that you would all give to Anissa very obviously, like Anissa now knows A, B, C, and D about Paige. And then what would be a few A, B, C, and D things that they would all know about Anissa after this brief, like, pleasantries exchange?
She'd know.
Don't have to be big deals. They could be little things too.
Yeah, just name, obviously. Tavern family. She's a bartender. Also magician. Her and her brother, both of them. It kind of just like basic information like that. Probably mention she likes art too. Surface level stuff.
Mm-hmm. Pierre would mention probably the magician thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, card trick for Anissa.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Pick a card, any card.
Love.
Do I have to roll for that, DM, or can I just say she does a card trick?
Yeah, you could just do a cool card trick. You have magic. You can do a cool card trick.
Thank God. I don't think the dice like me.
As far as Willow goes, it's pretty much an open book. What she's already said is, and you've already seen, is what you know about Willow. Which rich bitch asks too many questions, just wants to talk about technology and science. Where's the nearest inventor's place? Where's the nearest library? Is there a library? Please tell me there's a library.
little tug on the sleeve of like, slow down, let her breathe. You may not have to, but she does.
After a decent amount of pleasantries have been exchanged, she will ask, and so, how long did you know my sister?
If I remember correctly, like 3 weeks-ish? Only a couple weeks?
Yeah, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, somewhere in there, because you
Maddie
met
knew
her in the city. Yeah. Maddie knew her better.
Yeah, and then, I mean, we all met.
And Vincent knows her the best.
Yeah. Okay.
When she doesn't know she died.
Oh yeah, we haven't told him.
Yep, he doesn't know that she's fucking dead.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to it later. The
Hearing that though, like she
Oh.
very visibly looks perplexed. Like, wait, you only knew her a couple weeks?
There's a nod. A sip of drink. Which, I don't know why, I feel like it's a lemonade for Paige.
Yeah, well, needing to head out of town for a little bit and, well, have the assistance of hunters, as you might imagine, dealing with the woods. And in meeting the hunters, we met your sister. Didn't really walk in the same circles, any of us.
She'll give an understanding nod. I did know that my sister was close with a couple of hunters.
Yes. One of them is around the city, so maybe you can talk to him later?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
One of them is here in the city, so maybe you can talk to him later? Question mark?
Oh, really? Not with you though?
Yeah, you're a hunter, so always must be doing something.
How many of that are you? Or how many of you are there?
Starts counting on fingers.
To be like that.
Yeah. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
8?
Hold on a second. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there were 6, but we just gave 1 to you, so now there are 5. And then we just met 2 more, so now it's back to 7, and there's another on the way, so... Oh, I think I was already counting a... Shit. Oh, no, I wasn't. So it is going to be 8, I think. I feel like she ends up like doing this fucking math. She pulls out the deck of cards. And starts fucking assigning each person a card on the deck, just putting them out on the table and like moving them around. Like, okay, there's so many fucking people here. Gotta keep track. TLDR, a lot.
She's piecing that together. And can you tell me exactly what happened?
Rather unpleasant encounter in the woods, unfortunately. Sure you want to know the details?
She winces almost if it pains her. Unfortunately, I need to know.
Paige gonna look to Willow of like, hey, you or me?
Again, I was not there, so it's all Paige.
That's true. Understood.
You can also like gingerly hand wave and say, "I explained what happened."
Yeah.
In as gentle a way as possible.
Be like, Paige puts the cards away. And very, very gingerly explains that giant tree spiders fucking suck.
I thought you were going to say giant tree spiders fucking ate her.
No. No. And they did everything, you know. They fucking suck. They hurt. They tried to fight him.
Full poison acid.
Yeah, poison. Maddie got fucking eaten.
Holds up a hand like no more is needed.
Oh yeah, no. She would very gingerly just explain the basics of the encounter.
Her eyes do fill with tears, but she closes her eyes and looks down and seems to mouth something before returning her gaze to the two of you, seemingly holding back the tears.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Willow is the wherewithal to keep her mouth shut for the most part through all of this, because she is not delicate in describing things. Paige is better for that, even if Paige doesn't want to be.
She'll be very delicate here.
And there's a moment where she's kind of like lets the like silence hang and lets Anissa process, and then she'll just kind of like rest an elbow on the table and prop her chin in her hand as she's staring at Anissa. And Paige, you can see Willow working up to a very blunt question. And you can stop her if you want.
There's
but it's
a
there.
hold. There's just like the slightest raise of like a finger of like, wait a second. Give her another minute.
It's a brow raise. She doesn't open her mouth, but now she's just watching you, Paige.
And Cody, quick question for you. Are you cool with Paige casting a little soothe spell on...
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to double check. And it's like, okay, well, Willow wants to ask more questions here. She's not feeling great, for obvious fucking reasons. And Paige is gonna put a hand on Anissa's shoulder, and she's gonna give her a little soothe. Little emotional healing. For whatever the fuck Willow's about to say.
Preemptive healing.
Yeah, preemptive, just like, okay. Boom. The little finger that was raised, stopping Willow, slowly lowers as the soothe takes effect. Still a comforting hand on the shoulder, though.
Willow's like eyes narrow a little bit and looks back towards Anissa. There's a tilt of the head, chin still propped in her hand. How exactly did you know before we got in about your sister's passing? You've only recently been able to send word back home, let alone here.
Her lips purse a little bit before one side kind of turns upward. So it wasn't very believable when I said that I hadn't heard from her in a while.
Oh, my sister's in the Explorers Guild. I know how fast news travels.
That
Hearing and not hearing for a while is par for the course.
the truth of the matter, my sister and I have always shared an incredibly close bond, and I felt her gone.
What's the vibe check skill? Do we have a vibe check skill?
It's perception.
All right.
Perception to sense motive.
When taking off the dunce hat, don't disappoint me.
I feel like that's a missed skill that needs to be included in this.
You're going back on the fucking chair.
Hey.
Oh, shit. That's a hell of a vibe check.
That is.
Hell yeah.
I don't think Willow has ever rolled that high for sense motive type check.
Hell yeah.
So I will leave this up to your professional judgment, Cody. How much information do you think Willow would get on a nat 20 for a total of 24 to see through Anissa's minimal statements here?
Yeah, so I mean, she's not lying. She's just not maybe sharing the whole truth.
This or the sister, I forget the name.
Agatha.
Agatha.
Wait.
She was magic.
It was
right?
Agneta.
Agneta. You're right. Agneta. Sorry. I was like, Agatha's not
Yeah.
right. Hold on.
I was like, who the fuck's Agatha?
You've done that like twice, so I think Cody should get a hero point.
I appreciate that.
What? Fucking.
It's chill, we're vibing.
You should have
She's
corrected me.
dead.
So we knew Agneta had magic, right? Or did we at that point?
I don't think
we did.
I don't
Technically,
think you
no,
did.
because we were in Genesis at that point, and so
Yeah.
she wasn't actually using magic. Um,
Yeah, so no, we didn't.
Willow just like her head still tilted, just watching Anissa very carefully. So, no, it's understandable enough. Paige and Pierre are siblings, and I have more than enough of my own. But to assume she's dead off of a bad feeling, it's rather extreme. Why didn't you just head towards Termark to see?
I had my mission here to attend to.
What exactly is it that you're doing at the convent that made you stay here?
Caring for Murcott's less fortunate. As I mentioned, I felt my sister gone. What purpose would going to Termark save or afford me?
Willow's lips kind of purse, and she shoots a glance towards Paige. It's like, you're not, like, Willow's smart enough to know, like, yeah, that does make sense, but at the same time, it doesn't. Not to mention, Willow does not understand the concept of, like, well, I have to be here for the convent.
Considering Paige rolled a fucking 3 on her perception check. Joel, if you allow me to flavor this. Is that Paige is a little too... She accidentally got too close to the sun. With, emotion-wise. So she's a little too tuned in to Anissa at the moment. So Willow turns to her, and Paige is, like, trying to detach herself. It's like, I can't think straight. All I feel is just this. She doesn't have much to say off of, yeah, that kind of does sound kind of sus, but also, man... I can kind of see where she's coming from, but I also can't. Things are weird. You're court. I need to get myself out of this web before I can be helpful.
The empathy got to her.
She's blessed with empathy.
Willow just look back to Anissa and will finally give a little nod. Well, I suppose I'm glad that we were able to answer your questions regarding her then. She died trying to be helpful to somebody and to the city at large, so you two do indeed share a bit of a mission between you. She died doing what I imagine both of you would want.
She smiles, probably the biggest she has since you all have met her. That sounds exactly like her.
Pierre's going to sheepishly ask, like put a hand on the back of his head and scratch and go, if I may, what is your plan now? Now that you know, are you going to stay at the convent?
Well, if you're eager to stay here, then I can, when we return back to Tamort, see if there's any belongings of hers that are around that I can send back this way. Might take a few months, but I can send them.
She takes a long pause, shakes her head. If you would... She's struggling for words. I'd like to take my sister's place amongst you.
Pierre's like stunned.
Tilt up the head. Are you sure about that?
She nods and starts rambling, like trying to convince you all that, oh, she can read and write in this many languages and she's proficient in medicine, and she just keeps going until someone cuts her off.
Hands clasped over her hand of like, okay, that's enough. No. I don't think that is the problem. But it's going to be very dangerous. Are you sure you don't want to stay in safety?
Our path continually takes us into the deep woods till we figure out a couple of things. And you did say that you're rather attached to your mission here. Not really less fortunate to help out there.
I believe that he brought you to Mercot for a reason. Our paths were meant to cross, and I'm listening to the call.
Pierre blinks and goes, E? E-oo.
She just points up.
Ew.
I mean, it saved me from saying it. Thank you, Joe. Took that bullet for me. Because Rach is also confused. Like, who the fuck's he? Pointing upwards. She does look up at first. Like, what the fuck? Is someone tall around here? No?
There's immediately like a roll of the eyes from Willow.
Paige tries her best not to cringe.
Yeah, at least you'll have somebody that will want to talk to your ear off.
She looks around at the current crew like, oh?
Wave of the hand. Not here.
Well, does Michonne... I think Michonne is somewhat religious, right? I don't know if that came out to the party much.
I mean, he's been praying with Aang.
Yeah. So Michonne's a little bit there. They're enough to be with it, to be willing to pray with Aang about it.
Michonne on the back then.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And one other who's not with us right now. She is off hunting a vampire.
Yes. Wave of hand. Don't talk about that right now.
Well, he says in French, did I say too much?
Well, I guess if we're going to try to scare her off, then this might be the best way to start. Swaps back to English. Yes, she's helping the hunters, at least for the time. Before we have to head back out once the last hunter returns to the city. But this is the type of danger we're talking about. It's not just scrapes and bumps and such that you can bandage up easily with a little gauze and medicine. We are talking about dealing with vampires and creatures like the tree spider and everything in between.
Nodding. My sister lost her life to that spider, and I'm prepared to do the same.
We can try to avoid that too. We don't want that to happen.
Then let us pray. She'll bow her head and begin praying.
Kier like tugs at his collar, like I don't know what to do here, but I don't want to be rude.
Are you doing that? I'm gonna get us more drinks. Tug Pierre along. Come help.
Oh,
While y'all are praying.
Well, it's just like head back in her, like chin back in her palm, just like, I thought I got away from this when I got away from my brother, but now here I am.
Now there are two of them.
Apparently
Getting in
3.
hand. Apparently 3.
apparently 3.
Apparently 3.
We'll see about a 4th by the end of the day.
His religion's about to be Girl Scout cookies.
I
Are you saying, Joe?
I think this is a good time to pan away from the party as the prayer settles in and they continue having their little conversation. In a different part of town, we have our two tall heroes, Aang and Hylas, who have been tasked with scouting out some of the tent lands to look for suspicious characters who might be vampiric. So, from both of you, Hylas and Aang, I will need diplomacy checks as you are gathering information.
You got it.
Mhm. No, I don't. But I appreciate
Maybe I
your
got
belief
it.
in me.
Well, I do.
Because I'm taking penalties now.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe. Just diplomacy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
sweet.
Mm-hmm. This is you guys interfacing with the public,
Look at
talking to people.
you!
That was really good. That's
My
really
boy!
good.
Oh man.
Hell
Okay.
yeah. It's the eyelashes.
I
It is
can't
the
figure out.
eyelashes. You do a lot of the legwork here.
Mm-hmm.
Aang.
I was gonna say I can't figure out how to make it add a negative, so I'm just gonna roll n -2.
That's fine. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
Aang. Yeah, it's not bad. 15 is not bad.
So on a 22 and a 15, are you both splitting up or are you together?
No.
No, we're not splitting
No?
up. No, no. It's
Okay.
this is
I think
already bad
we-
enough.
We
Oh,
have
please
paired
don't.
off the two most socially anxious people in the party.
Yes.
I don't think they want to be alone.
I appreciate the vehement no's from both of you. Yes. So as you are together approaching this task, I forget which sections of the city you guys were tasked with. I think it was the west and south.
Yeah,
That is
the
correct.
south and west.
Cool.
So we're
So-
going clockwise.
Yeah, we're starting
Clockwise?
south.
Okay, it's cool. So you'll be while the others are at this point in time shopping around in the somewhat middle northern district, you guys are heading south and cruising through this little section here, and then you're going to go up and around and go to the western section. So in the southern section, as you are going place to place, there are some tent areas that you would have to canvas, pun intended. My question to you is, in this area, there is technically the convent that you would be crossing by. There is also the High Glass, which is the fancy tavern. And then the rest are different sizes of living quarters, either communal living quarters where there's like sort of like an apartment situation going on, or like singular living quarters where there is like a family or a person living in a singular building structure or tent. I imagine you would probably skip over the tents until the end, because if a vampire was in a tent, it would be a little strange.
Obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest things that we have to go off of are, somewhere probably shady, somewhere, probably well concealed from sunlight.
Mhm.
So that's where we got basement from.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So we're also not really. We're kind of easing up on churches and other sacred places.
True. Fair enough. So as you are cruising through the southern section here, there are a handful of times where you stop, and on a 22 and a 15, you are both very successful at going door to door and being very plain faced with it. Do you want to give me one sales pitch that you would have, like knocking on a door and being like, "Hey, can we look in your basement?" Like, what is your best 22 roll for "Can I look around in your house"?
I think
Aang
with a
is
22.
back up too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's back up.
Yeah, I think with a 22, Hylas might have the wherewithal to ask Aang before knocking on the door. What should we say? Not just
Mhm.
completely winging it.
Aang.
Aang would point out that she can't lie. So they can't say anything that's untrue.
Okay.
So I think her argument would be, we're investigating, we're working with some local hunters in the area. Something about that. That sort of caliber.
Okay.
Because she can help with that. What she cannot help with is a lie.
All right. I think with a 22, Hylas is going to say something that isn't outright. Can we
Let
look
us
for
look at your
vampire
basement.
basement, but more of a we're looking for a creature that got loose, or
Fugitive.
Fugitive, that's the word. Yes, that's the word we
Fugitive.
want to use.
Okay. So I will give you that one. You're just like, we're looking for an escaped fugitive. He may have taken up residence in your basement or other dark spaces in your abode.
I think there's something about the particular confidence he has when he tips his hat and sort of like turns to the side, showing that he's got like a cool looking gun. Like, he looks kind of official during the sales pitch.
Mm-hmm. There is something inherently authoritative about a man in Western gear with a gun asking to look around for a fugitive. You have a certain degree of professional like, yeah, this is right. This all jives.
They don't see as soon as like they turn away that he's like taking in a breath, like.
Aang is pat 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 on the shoulder.
He returns the pat pat.
I do have a question. I think you mentioned this last time, but Kira, did you bring the scythe with you or no?
She didn't bring her armor. She's not wearing her armor. It would thus stand to reason that she didn't bring her scythe.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
So
say
right
she didn't bring her scythe.
Yeah, so right now, you are full civilian garb, no scythe, no armor, in your hava, which also does not look out of place from the Western gear, I think. So you get through a few pretty good searches in this area. And you encounter no real friction. For every basement that you look in, you see that there's a lot of clutter. Like you could definitely see how a creature would hide under here if it were averse to daylight, but it would not be dignified by any stretch. It would be literally hiding in the basement, but there's nothing there. Now I will give you a choice because there's two directions you can go next. There is the last little stretch of the southern border here, and then there is a little like like the century area where there is a lot of walking traffic in the square. There is a building there that you can see. And you don't have to pick like this one's on the route because this is like assuming you guys go from place to place.
Yeah.
This is more like which one would you want to go to first?
I think so. Down here to the south, there's it's more crowded.
Yes. More crowded, there's businesses, there's lots of buildings with presumably roofs and or not roofs, cellars.
With great hesitation, I think Hylas has to point out that that is a pretty likely place to go looking.
I think Aang looks out toward the crowd, and there's that visible flinch when you say that. But she nods. She understands. She made her save for the day.
Mm-hmm.
She just squeezes his arm a little tighter.
I think
White knuckling Hylas's arm.
Mm-hmm.
I think he doesn't quite convey. He hasn't really made it very obvious that he is also having reservations about doing all this social work, but seeing Aang kind of get nervous and seeing sort of a reflection of that, he's able to power through it just a little bit.
Yeah, you're getting there together. So, you head into the high traffic area of the southern part of Murkat, and it is exactly as I said it. There is a lot of foot traffic, a lot of people going into and out of buildings with food and with new clothing and with like other types of goods and wares that you would purchase and walk around with. It really is like an open air kind of mall vibe, but circa 1899. There are children playing in the street. There are people having conversations. Like, it's a bustling little area. And for better or worse, it is a great hiding spot for someone who would want to walk amongst people like a vampire. However, before you actually get to one of the buildings in this area to search, there is effectively like what seems to be like a town crier type person. Only they are not like shouting out about any sort of businesses are going on. they are spouting a bunch of, from the distance, what you can hear as weirdling hate speech.
Ah.
There is a person standing on a soapbox, and they have a little like megaphone, like not actual megaphone, but like the old school one that's just like a cone. And they're shouting from there, "They don't look like us. We put up walls to keep them out. They are not human." Like that type of shit. And this dude's going off. He's going off very vehemently about it. And there are people watching, listening, not interfering. What do you guys do?
Hylas, what do you want to do here?
I did want to say, right before we came here, Hylas probably offered an attempt at words of comfort to Aang. And he just sort of like pats her hand and goes, "Hey, if all goes well, you're never gonna have to see any of these people again." That's what I keep telling myself.
Aang will nod at that. She still looks a little bit nervous, and then looks at Hylas. Hylas, can I with thee be truthful?
He looks blankly and goes, Thought you couldn't be anything but."
There's a soft smile from Aang. Yes, but I find that it is comforting for people if I ask permission first.
Yeah, sure.
Gentle hand on shoulder. 'Tis the third time that thou hast those words spoken to me.
His eyes kind of dart to the side and back to you, and he just goes,
Seeing this, and worrying that she's pressing the matter too far, Aang will simply just pat him again. Although, I admit it does bring me great joy to see thee again, Hylas.
He kind of rubs the back of his head and goes, sorry, did I say something wrong?
Smile, shake of the head. No, not at all. She will even pinch his cheek a little. This is before the crier shows up.
Yeah. He was looking kind of off at the ground, avoiding eye contact before you pinched his cheek, and he just kind of looks back at you and kind of puts his fingers where his cheek was just pinched, like he doesn't quite understand why you did that or really what this interaction was, but if you're smiling at the end of it, he seems content to have let that interaction be what it was.
I think so too. I think that in the same way that Hylas sees Aang freaking out and puts on the "I need to not freak out" hat, Aang sees Hylas starting to freak out, and she's like, no.
Yeah. Oh. There is something like a little, his shoulders aren't as stiff at the end of that interaction. Something about that has put some relief in him.
I will give you a hero point. Kira, for the being asked 3 times thing.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Yeah.
when I see this crier start up, I think
Mhm.
Aang squeezes Hylas's arm, but this time it doesn't feel frightened. This time, Hylas, it's like a little too tight. You know?
Yeah, I think Hylas stopped, because, there's somebody standing, on a soapbox saying something really loud and really heated, so, hey, maybe it's important. And he just sort of stops and stares and listens, and after a while, there's really no change in his expression. It's just sort of a neutral, like, face, little bit of a furrowed brow. But he feels a squeeze on his arm, and he looks to Aang.
Aang, you know what? I'm not sure she does. I think she did in Genesis have sharp nails, but I don't. Joe, would she have sharp nails now? She has fangs. Her natural attacks. Does she have sharp nails?
I mean, not necessarily sharp enough to cause horrendous damage to someone,
Mhm.
but probably sharper than an average person's, like slightly pointed.
That sounds good.
Recommend
So-
both.
She's like digging in, and you can feel like the points of her nails, that pressure. And Hylas, Aang, as you have known her, has usually been like very serene, or she's either been very, very depressed, or she's been very serene when she probably shouldn't be. But there's something different a little bit in her eye as she looks over at this crier. There's something that just feels just a tiny bit dangerous. You know? There's like that shift in the way that she's holding herself.
Yeah, I think he looks for a moment, and I guess let me get some confirmation on this. Hylas, like,
Uh-huh.
has seen like Aang's hooves and all that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Because she doesn't have shoes now, boots rather, so she's just hoofing it.
Mhm. There's sort of a his eyes dart between the crier and Aang, and he goes, what? Thinking of saying something to him?
See Aang's jaw work a little bit. 'Tis encouraged by the good book to turn the other cheek, and yet there's just this intense stare. She doesn't finish it off, but she's just staring very intently.
He kind of lingers on that and sort of repeats, turning the other cheek, huh? Like he's pondering that. And he looks at the crowd that's gathered around the crier.
Mm-hmm.
What's the vibe with the crowd? And how big is it?
It's probably a crowd of like 10 to 12 people. If you want to vibe check the crowd, you can roll me a perception check as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw something into that too.
Uh-huh.
I had been wondering about how many people have we been passing in Mirkot that I guess are obvious weirdlings?
There's been at least a handful. There's been a handful that you're like, you can pick out of a crowd and you're like, that guy's unusually hairy. You know, that's probably fur. Or that person has a tail. Very minor things, but enough to point out, or enough to like signal that they're a weirdling. Probably a weirdling. Obviously the boys are the most drastic standout weirdlings of the area that you can see. But there's been a handful that are local.
Okay, so I guess a picture that I want to start piecing together, like
Mm-hmm.
Mirkot is I don't know, does this city seem like it's
Progressive.
yeah.
So without being like new to the city, being like a fresh face inside of Mirkot, you can't know for sure, but the general vibe that you've gotten from around town is that people haven't been looking twice at the weirdlings very much. Like everyone seems calm and normal about it. You like you haven't been to Termarkt, but I imagine it may have come up in conversation with those who are from Termarkt. But weirdlings in Termarkt get stared at. Like very obviously, people like look at them and will move across the street when they walk by in certain neighborhoods. It's much more overt, but here it does not seem to be the case. That's the best you can tell with having been like not from here.
Okay, and that was a perception that you wanted me to roll?
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit more lax with, because like rules is written, like sense motive is always perception, but
Ooh,
I'm that's really
almost
good.
a crit.
Almost a crit. But yeah, you could on a 23 sensing the crowd. The crowd, it's a mix of like morbid curiosity and light investment, because this dude is preaching like he is pandering to their sense of security. A lot of the things he's saying are like, the forest is dark and full of terrors. There is no safety to be had in the woods. Why would we invite creatures from the woods into our homes and into our walls? They are not human. They don't look human. How could we treat them as human? There are vampires that require blood. What difference is that from a weirdling who needs blood? Like, he's pointing out a bunch of things that make people feel insecure and anxious. He is preying on their fear. And there are people listening who are afraid of the woods.
I think is this guy standing on like a literal soapbox? Like, what's the situation?
It's like a crate. It's like a wood crate that he's just turned upside down and stood on top of.
Okay. I'm debating doing something here.
Uh-huh.
Hylas is seeing Aang kind of in this distressed state, and he is also sort of I guess it doesn't really sit right with him.
Mhm.
Oof. I'm really debating whether I want to do this.
Do it.
Do it?
Yeah, whatever it is, do it.
Okay. I think Hylas is going to take a good look at Aang and sort of pat her on the arm as they have been patting each other this whole time.
The reassurance gesture.
The reassurance gesture that they share. And I think Hylas is going to say, wait here a sec.
Oh, you're gonna abandon Aang.
Not far. Just a couple of feet. I feel like they were kind of standing at the back of this crowd.
Uh-huh.
So he's not gonna go out of sight. He's going to say, I'll be right back. Be ready to run.
Aang? You have a response to this? Kira! You said you were back.
Hello?
Hi.
You're back.
My internet chat itself. What is Hylas doing?
Oh, where did it cut out?
Hylas, I'm thinking of having Hylas do something, and then I didn't hear what he was gonna do.
Okay. He patted Aang in that reassurance gesture that they've been sharing.
Mhm.
And I imagine they're kind of like at the back of this crowd, so not
Mhm.
too far from this guy. He's going to look at her with a soft smile and just kind of go, wait here a sec. Be ready to run.
Aang looks at him with curiosity. But you know what? I think she's gonna let him cook.
Okay.
I think what I would like to try doing
Uh-huh.
is making my way up to this guy and flipping the crate that he's standing on, just like kicking it out from under him.
She's just gonna straight up kick it out from under him to intentionally like make him eat shit and land on his face, yes?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna bolt if I can.
Okay. I mean, roll me an athletics check.
Yeah.
I will give you a hero point for like there's no way to mince words with this guy. You're not gonna try. You're just gonna fucking hit his shit and upset him.
Yeah. Athletics?
Mhm.
I'm trained in that.
Yeah.
Oh, come
Oof.
on. Wait, do I have a hero? I do have hero
Yeah.
points, too.
You do.
Okay, I'm gonna roll again.
Oh my god.
Same?
Bruh.
We have a
This
rule in
is
this game.
why-
We can't use 2 hero points on one roll, right?
No, you can.
That's
You absolutely can.
This is why fucking hero point usage should be at advantage like we do in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Advantage is too powerful for this system.
Yeah, the system's not really built for it.
It should.
Alright.
When we're doing shit like this.
I'm gonna use my last hero point on this because I really want to do it.
Go for it.
Bless you.
Okay.
Bless you.
Alright.
You got this. Come on.
Alright. Come on, buddy.
Come on. Let's
Yeah,
fucking
there you
go!
go.
How do I
There you
deplete my
go.
hero points, by the way?
Right click.
Right click?
Yeah, right click on the hero point.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There you go. Okay.
Alright. 23. Hit and run. Let's go.
Yeah, you just stroll up to this dude, like carefully push your way to the front of the crowd, and this guy sees you. Like he sees you coming. He's like, "Oh, okay, a very interested listener," and he starts preaching even more fervently, like getting way into it, shouting more, and then you just walk up, and heel kick as hard as you can the box, and this dude, and they like falls. The little like microphone thing or oh my god, I can't
Cone.
remember it.
His
The
cone.
megaphone, yeah, his little megaphone cone like crumples, completely destroyed. He falls on his face. It gets crumpled. The box goes skittering out from behind him. The whole crowd, they're like, oh, what the, oh, and they all like take a step back and look at you like, what? Are you allowed to do that? They have this moment of like sheer stunned silence where nobody knows what to do next. Like that just happened, and now they're like, what?
I think in a act of sheer terror, Hylas is just gonna lift his hat like he always does, and maybe give a wink to the crowd, and he's just gonna say, "Have yourselves a nice day," and he's gonna book it.
Just fucking lift hat, wink, have yourselves a nice day, and then you do the Looney Tunes like boom, disappear in a Hylas shaped dust cloud.
Yeah. He's gonna bolt for Aang and go back to her immediately, grab her by the arm and run.
See,
Okay.
when you're running with Aang, she does have to slow down for you. But she will.
Aang happily
Hylas is
skipping.
pretty fast. So I don't think she has to slow down, like... Okay, she does. She does have to slow down a lot. I mean, like...
She is
max
fucked up
speed is
fast.
crazy.
But
No
I
shame
think,
Hylas. She's just fucked up fast.
yeah, she's just fucked up fast. It's not his fault at all. But I think that as they're skipping away, Aang will look up at Hylas, and she will. I'm not gonna do the voice because I'm on these shitty earbuds, but she will laugh, and she'll say, "You know, that was almost Faye-like of you."
He's kind of also laughing nervously while he runs, and he goes, he's like holding onto his hat with one hand, and he goes, well, I got the idea from also someone who's kind of Faye-like, and he tilts his head, squinting at you.
Aang tilts her head back. Who could you be talking about?
And he sort of laughs it off, and he goes, little crazy, but I just kind of felt like repaying a debt.
Huh. I think Aang, hearing that, will smile softly at him, and there's something that looks... How do I put this? What's the word I'm looking for? Sympathetic. As she smiles at him and she says, don't worry, you and I have no debts between us.
He looks a little bit awestruck by that sentence, and he sort of says, before when you... And he stops himself from elaborating. And he just kind of closes his mouth and nods, accepting your words.
Aang nods with him. And she will thank him. And she'll say that something like, I was trying to find the right words to speak with him, but I think perhaps you may have gotten through to him in a better way.
He sort of brushes the back of his head with his hand and goes, I'm not real good at talking or mincing words. It just seemed right.
And you both run, you both away yourself to a different part of the southern area of the city to investigate a different location. Let the heat die down, and maybe you'll turn back around and head back that way later on in the evening.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the wanted meter.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for the rogue crate flipper.
And as you guys are running away and slowly getting back to your search and continuing the search, we will jump back to our crew in the High Glass. Was there anything else you all wanted to do after you had your conversation and after your group prayer? Was there anything else you guys wanted to cover?
Probably. Looking into the Frenchies performing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Looking into a performance potentially for a performance at the High Glass.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I just feel like it's Paige and Willow very subtly trying to convince this newcomer that no, she doesn't actually want to come with us.
I feel like it's like, are you sure? It's very dangerous.
A lot of
Circle
are you
to it,
sures?
like, every 15 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm. Like it's so dangerous. There are so many monsters, and it's so rough camping all of the time. Just trying to very subtly be like, hey, this shit sucks. There is no glory here.
Except his glory.
This is not a place of honor. No, there's not, actually. He won't be able to help us.
Oh my god, that's fucking funny.
I feel like every time Paige gets a little too... She's still trying her best to, like, fucking cut the ties, empathy-wise. And every time she gets a little too lost in the sauce, Anissa says something of religion-related, and that's just, like, the splash of cold water in the face.
Oh man.
It's like, oh yeah, no, okay, right. No thanks.
Willow very quickly realizing that she is probably going to end up in a religious war at this point.
Alone. Paige is not helping you, I'm sorry. She'll help you escape with her.
So, what we can do for potentially performing for Paige and Pierre at the High Glass, you can roll me a diplomacy check with a +2 from Pierre, because he's going to help you.
Bet.
To convince the man to let you.
Diplomacy. Hold on. Hold.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Uh-huh. Hold on.
Let me double check and see if this thing applies. It does.
Yeah. Is that the thing?
That's the thing.
Hey.
So you work yourself up like, hey, I'm gonna go do this, and Willow's just hold on a second, and primps and adjusts Paige's and Pierre's outfits. Their tweak appearance skill, so you get a +1.
Oh. That's cute. Yeah.
Cute.
Okay.
You said diplomacy?
Diplomacy.
You
You have a net of +3. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anissa's gonna say a little prayer and give her guidance. Holy guidance.
Okay, a net of what
Plus
is that?
one.
Plus, so a net of +4.
Okay. Taking off the dunce hat.
Even if you rolled a 2 now, I feel like you'd probably still get there.
What are you talking about? I've been in shrinkend. That's a +4.
A +4 on top of whatever your diplomacy bonus is, which is
+6.
probably huge. Yeah, +10. That's fucking massive. That's half the die.
Come on, please, please, please. 17, 27.
27.
27.
On a
God bless.
27, this bartender who has like pretty chill, like coiffed salt and pepper hair, he gives you like a look and inquires like what your actual shtick is. And when you tell him it is magic, he seems way more interested because he thought it was going to be like a song and dance. And he's like, we already got a piano player who does plenty of song. We don't need more song. And then you say magic and he's like, wait, like a magic, like a performance magician? That's
Ugh.
way less common.
I feel like
We-
as soon as... Sorry, again.
No, you go ahead.
As soon as she sees that interest of like, whoa. I mean, she's perched up on a bar stool, chatting with him. Just, oh, got him. Hook, line, and sinker. Just propping her little chin on her hand. Other hand lifts up and kind of flicks a card out from thin air. Kind of reiterate magic. That kind.
He is impressed, does a little clap. He looks at the stage. It's not huge, as I said, but he looks at it and just kind of gestures. Can the piano stay there? Do you need to move it? Please say no.
I know that vibe though. Please don't make me do this hard work.
Joe,
Uh-huh.
if you will allow me, can I do some magic bullshit with the piano and leave it there as part of the show?
What magic bullshit? I'm
know.
interested. What did you have in mind?
I'll get to it.
Okay. You think of a trick, a magic trick that involves a piano, and get back to me, because if you think of something clever enough, I'm down to let it work.
Okay, because I think because Paige is a bard, she has a plus. Her perform is better than her diplomacy. So I feel like she can. It's like, okay, I've got some ideas to cook. She's like, no, it's okay. The piano can stay, as long as I can use it.
Also, I will say, on a 27, if the show goes well, you will have enough clout with this dude that you can get Aang piano time.
Bet.
I was laughing because I was like, that's so funny. Just like, Paige did so well that Aang is jumping in on that success too. Scooch over. Let me on the ride. It's funny.
Teamwork. She is a support build.
So you have secured, and the show can be whenever you like. It can be tonight or tomorrow night or in 2 nights from now, like whenever you like. But you only have, so far, you've only locked down 1 show. If you knock it out of the park, you can get more in the time that you stay here if you want to do more.
Wonderful. She has to get with Pierre on this.
Okay, so show's locked in, and this is locked in. Now, for the rest of y'all, we don't have a Michonne, which is sad. I'm not sure how to compensate for the missing Michonne. But was there anywhere else that you all wanted to go? I know Willow was hankering to go to a laboratory or to a forge, which is at a laboratory.
Yep.
Do you have a preference on which laboratory you're going to? Because the 2 laboratories are Future Innovations and Chemical Apothecary.
Is there one that has had any relationship with the Clockworkers?
The only one that the Future Innovations is the closest one. Oh no.
Oh no.
What just happened? Oh.
Kira has to call internet people.
Aw,
We're just dropping like flies, man.
damn.
Sad. The Kuhl is in trouble.
I think you'd start with the future innovations, because anything mechanical or needing the forge, which I imagine the forge would be there rather than at the apothecary.
Mm-hmm.
That will take longer.
Yeah.
So she'd go there.
So,
first.
yeah, so you go to Future Innovations, which is on the north end of town. Future Innovations is when you start heading in that direction. When you start heading in that direction, the first thing you notice on this building is that it is the roof has been engineered in such a way that it can be opened, presumably, because out from the top of the roof there is a massive, you don't have a name for it yet, but there is a massive Tesla coil. They're back.
All I had to do was threaten to call the interview.
You
Hey,
haven't missed anything.
Whatever it takes.
Paige has locked down a magic show. Willow is now going to a laboratory.
Oh, quick question.
If there's yes,
What are the laboratories' name?
Future
this one is
Innovations.
future. Yeah, Future Innovations.
Okay.
And
I forget the other one
you.
already.
Chemical Apothecary. It's not really a fancy name. It's more just like what it says on the tin. But as you head towards Future Innovations, you see that in the middle of the building, poking out from where the roof would presumably be, is a Tesla coil, like a pretty sizable one, poking up straight through the roof. And as you get closer, you see the large, I don't know a better word to describe it other than carnival-esque, like wooden sign that is meant to look and evoke a type of scientific mysticism vibe with the way the wording is. It's very elaborate and fancy.
World's Fair type shit.
Yeah. But the building itself is structured to be, it looks more like a barn than it does like a laboratory. It is a giant wood structure with barn door entrance, like a barn door entrance. But there's also like a standard little side door. But whichever way you choose to enter, when you enter inside the lab, you see a whole workshop full of goodies and gadgets and gizmos. There's, of course, a metal forge in the far back corner of the building that is stone worked and with like an open area behind it. There's like cables and wiring all the way around it. There's textbooks and like note-taking materials. It is everything you could think goes in a laboratory stretched over a very big open space. And in the center of the space, there is some completely opaque type of metallic boxed machinery with a Tesla coil sticking straight up out of it, poking through the open air roof, which you can see is controlled by like some type of rotating, not winch, but like levers and pulley system so that it can be cranked open and cranked closed. And in the midst of all of this, as you walk in, there's not a bunch of people. It actually seems kind of empty, at least at first. But you hear some shuffling, and as you are walking in, you see a man come around the corner. He has perfectly parted down the middle, black hair, a collared white shirt with a high collar, and a very elaborate vest with a very like finely cut vest with an elaborate pattern on it. Black trousers. He has a little bit of a mustache too, and slightly above olive-toned skin. And he like hurriedly dusts his hands off and walks over to you and just goes, "Ah, hello. I did not hear you come in. How can I help you?"
We'll just take him in, and then there's a little smile, and she will just very quickly offer her hand to shake. Are you the person in charge around here?
Yes, excuse me. He holds his hand out. Nicola,
Are you about to say Nikola Tesla?
are you going to ask for his last name?
We'll give a little nod. Miller Delaunay, Termoc Delaunay's. I was hoping you might have a little bit of extra space around here for a little bit of work.
Oh, yes, what would the Delaunays do with this? I thought you were a merchant crew.
No, family is in the merchant business, but I am a clockworker.
Ah, I see. And he seems a little bit like, not perturbed, but like, oh, okay. I know who you are.
She'll
I respect
arch.
the clockworkers. Good, innovative type.
She kind of arches a brow at the reaction, and she nods. Yes, I've been traveling for a little bit. Picked up a few things. Oh, wouldn't be opposed to if you have a little bit of space. Trading a little bit of gold for some time and tools.
I am happy to oblige. A fellow working scientific mind.
She smiles, and then she'll tilt her head. Well, you seem to have some opinions about my guild. Care to share?
He inhales and kind of smiles like, oh, okay, you got me. And he just like, ah. Well, they have come here before. They had expressed some interest in setting up a guild in the city. I'm sure you know this, if you are part of their guild.
She nods.
I chased them away. However, I'm a private man. I like my laboratory and my little setup. It is good. It's done me good. And I do the city good, as best I can with the government the way that it is. The clockworkers, they are... He strokes his chin. What do you know of... they are opinionated. What do you know of Mr. Vosten, the head of the guild? Do you know him well?
I don't think so.
You know of him?
Yeah, I know of him. And we'll just kind of like tilt her head back and forth, arms kind of crossing loosely. Well, we've met at a few events and had a chat once or twice. Not particularly well acquainted, though.
Mr. Vosten is a clockworker, yes, but he is also a businessman. And I am not in the business for doing business. I am here for science. Mr. Vosten, I don't think he can say the same. At least, not honestly.
Fuck it. Is Boston Edison?
I'm not naming names.
And Willow just nods. Well, he does like to stick his fingers in things, doesn't he? But I can assure you, I am less interested in the business side of things. I leave that to my brother. I like invention.
Kindred spirit. I'd like to hear it. I like to hear it.
Yeah.
You are welcome to use my lab. So long as you are able to provide your own materials and payment if you can't.
She nods, and she will go ahead and pull out a little pouch gold. It should cover at least the starting fee. And that doesn't cover what I might be missing. And you might have a little bit of fun looking at this. And she will pull out her flame sprayer and offer it forward.
He will take the little bag of gold and he will stick it in his pocket, and he will take the flame sprayer and he holds it delicately, like looking at it like it is made of glass, turning it over, examining it, like fascinated with it. It's like, incredible. I admire this design. You made this for yourself?
She kind of lifts a hand and does like a side-to-side gesture with it. I primarily, in my work in Termont, provide things for the hunters. They are my best customers, so the initial design was for them, but yeah, most of them don't need fire. So I've taken it on as my personal weapon, yes. Can never be too
Ah.
careful out in the wood.
We live in a dangerous time, unfortunately.
She nods. I don't know how many of your local defense. It's like they don't have a hunter's guild, right?
No, not in Murcott.
I don't know how many of your local defenders come to you or ask for any aid, but I can provide some blueprints and sketches for the things that I've given to the hunters. That might, if things are bad, be helpful.
They would most likely come to me, which I would help them with a project or two, but well, I try to keep my nose out of politics.
All the better to have something tucked away so that you don't have to spend too much time on it then.
If you have these blueprints with you, I would very much like to look them over.
Not with me, but if you have an extra couple of sheets, I can more than likely whip them up within a few minutes. Most of them
From
are trapped
memory.
away. Yeah, she like taps her temple.
Incredible. Yes, I'd happily provide you with blueprints. And he like looks around, like panicking, like where did I leave the paper? I want you to write this shit down now. That's fucking crazy. You could just do that?
Do you have to ask? Well, he's like looking for shit. What is that machine on top of your barn?
He grabs a fistful or an armful of different sizes of blueprints and just kind of carts them over to you and just goes, that is my current endeavor. I am working on a way to provide power to the city without too much. I'm looking on a way to provide power to the city without too much fanfare. I want to make this city better. I'd like to light it up, give it what it needs to thrive, make people's lives better. It has been the focus of my research for quite a while now, and I have it almost figured out. I have made significant progress in the past couple months.
And she will kind of go to the nearest space that she can start drawing, just like grab a stool, sit down, and start drawing some of her more, the ones that just come to mind. And as she's drawing, she nods her head. Well, that's rather admirable goal there. Oh, quite a large one to have bitten off if you're working out here on your own.
Progress is slow at times, but it is still progress.
If you have anything you'd like a second opinion on, I'm more than happy to look over everything. Not that I can say that I've worked much with electricity thus far. I do understand the concept, so.
Well, now is a good chance for you to experience some true magic.
She just like looks up and quirks a brow. Yeah, that's a bold statement there.
The magic of electricity is no slouch. I promise you that.
She will imagine just like one or two really easy ones that she has like docked away, like the fucking like holy water mace.
Mm-hmm.
She like draws it up and she'll hand it over and just like pat the stack of remaining blueprints. I'll fill the rest of these out. I am curious to see what you have to offer now, though.
Yes, of course. I will. I look forward to seeing the rest of whatever you can call back from your memory. But for now, I will show you and I assume, did everyone come with Willow? Or is it just Willow? Because you can split up. You guys are totally welcome to split up. This is as safe as it's going to get for a while.
That's a good question. Would Willow want to do this alone, not have to chaperone?
I mean, she's fine with anybody following, but it's very clear that, like, once she's like, yes, I'm going to the lab, that she has put on the different hat. None of you have seen Mad Scientist Willow. Not really. But there's a look of, like, excitement that you have not seen ever at this point.
I feel like Paige is curious, but doesn't want to be anywhere near Mad Scientist Willow. She's torn. She wants to know, but she doesn't want to be near it, you know?
You could let the dice decide.
You
could roll
let
Mr.
the dice
Dunce.
decide.
Or Miss Dunce.
Miss Dunce. Bunny Dunce. Okay. Odds, curiosity one. Evens, fuck that shit. Evens, fuck that shit. She thinks about it, she's like, that would be interesting to see you in a lab setting. And she thinks back to all the chaos that Willow does while not in a lab. While having no equipment, actually. You know what? I'd rather not. Welcome back. She's gonna go off and do something else.
Pierre will follow dutifully.
What'd you say?
Pierre will follow dutifully.
Hell yeah. Inzy?
Go find more venues.
Yes, absolutely. They gotta go supply shopping. She's got a whole show to do that she's basing around a piano.
You could probably lock down at least one more without having a reputation yet.
So, there is, Anissa would know this. There is, Anissa mentioned it briefly, Domains. Domains is a theater.
Oh. Hell yeah.
So if you were looking to lock down more shows, you could have Anissa show you Domains.
That would be great. Link arm through Anissa's. More venues, please.
She will take you there happily. She enjoys the theater.
Hell yeah.
I think.
Well, she does now. New tidbit about Anissa unlocked.
What about Michonne? Is Michonne going to the laboratory?
Absolutely not.
No?
No.
Team, fuck that.
Are you all going to the theater? Michonne seems like they would like the theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To the theater
has he
then.
shared that he's a dancer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like there's the question of like, oh, did you also want to do something? We're going to a theater.
Slams fist on table. Yes.
Goodbye. Good luck seeing Willow again.
But Nicola would happily show you all of what he's working on and the various extravagant inventions that he has come to create in his time here. This is above table, your opportunity. You now have before you a bountiful wellspring of resources and like gear to craft damn near anything that you could want. You can upgrade weapons, you can upgrade armor, you have alien rocks that you can fucking do stuff with.
have 2 runes. I'll put this out to the party because the entire party is here right now. So unmute yourselves if you're wanting in on this. I have, well, everybody except for Maddie. But I can do something
True.
for Maddie. I have a +1 rune for +1 on your weapons, and I have a striking rune. Would anybody like one of those?
What does the striking rune do?
You do an additional die worth of damage.
It gives you an extra damage die wholesale, which
Question.
does get multiplied on a crit. Yes, Kira.
Does this work like 1E where you need to put the +1 on first?
Yes, you need to have a +1, and then you have the striking rune. So you have to have the basic weapon potency and then the striking to go on top of it.
Okay, so they both have to be applied to the same one.
Mm-hmm.
Unless a weapon already has a +1, yeah, they would probably need to be applied to the same weapon.
Because I don't think
But you
anybody has a
also-
+1.
I
You
have
have-
+1.
You do.
Yeah. You have in the community party list, the party stash, there are 2 weapon potency runes and 2 striking runes. And
Question.
an armor potency rune. Yes.
My scythe on my sheet is listed as +1, but I did not do that.
Yes, it is a inherently a slightly more magical scythe.
Oh, okay.
From the time that it was carried with you through the woods for decades.
Where is the party stash again?
If you click on the red banner that says party, there's the folder that opens and closes it, and then right next to the folder there's open sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the stash. And that's just what you have on hand.
Yeah.
Nicola has more.
That's going to be the other part of my homework beyond asking questions about Murcott to you, is putting together a list and saying, Joe, please.
Yes. Of course. I didn't show you the pictures. Hold on, let me show you. I gotta show you the picture of Madame Sonia. This is Madame Sonia. And obviously,
She's
Nicola.
sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm surprised you put Nikola Tesla in here, but thank you for doing that. I love it.
I
Incredible.
have to earn. If I'm putting it in an alt history, I have to fucking earn the title, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, does anybody want these striking runes that already have?
I want the striking rune.
Okay.
the rogue is like, give me it. Give me the juice.
It's a D10!
Let me get my notes here. Where do I want to write this down?
I feel like striking a rune for Aang to up her damage, and then the +1 to Hylas. I'll be honest. Would the Boastful Hunter even accept any cosmetics?
Don't
Yeah,
touch me.
It would have to be
I am
Boastful Hunter
perfect.
would have to be with Willow for an extended period of time, getting adjusted.
Because Hylas already does a fuck ton of damage.
Give the rifle a gun.
Give the rifle a gun. What if?
An undersling mount to the Boastful Hunter that just holds a smaller Boastful Hunter.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
If we ever damage boost Boastful Hunter, can it please be a smaller gun?
Yes.
That's his gun.
Man, look at that. 17.
Would
Not counting the sneak attack damage that you'll get.
Mm-hmm.
Michonne also want to get a
As
striking rune?
much as I would love it on Little Love, it's only a D4.
Are you planning on getting something better?
This is my knife.
So
What if
might
you
as well
get a
make it
bigger
do
one?
more damage.
If you had a sword, name it Big Love.
If you get a bigger sword, name it Huge Love.
Make me bouncy.
Fuck. Does he always use that, or does he also punchy?
He does both.
So
Oh,
is
he
this-
has, yeah, because he has
Knuckle.
brass knuckles.
Brass knuckle.
So, I have the striking runes and all that type of stuff in the stash. Is that on top of what I have marked on my sheet, or?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so we have
So
a total
you
of
have
3 striking
3
runes,
each.
3 +1s, and then 1 armor potency one.
You should
Yes.
keep the at least one striking rune for Maddie. She's probably going to want it on like her hammer or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then one of the +1s should also be reserved for her because I don't know if her hammer is +1 already. Armor potency is probably like Maddie, Aang, or Michonne. So we're the ones that are in combat more often. I mean, melee range.
Probably, let's be real here, is probably Michonne or Aang, because I feel like they are squishier by far.
How much health do you have, Charles?
44.
Interesting.
Wait, what do you mean interesting?
Aang has the lowest health in the party, I'm pretty sure. Or tied for lowest.
What's
She's
your
34.
ACs, though, as well?
She's 16, but that's without her armor. With her armor, it's 17, and she goes up to 19 as a reaction.
Michonne.
16.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Evens for Aang, odds for Michonne. Michonne gets this one.
The armor potency.
Oh, good.
And
For runes elsewhere.
It's that's only what you have on hand because Nicola could have more. He could have extras that you could purchase from him.
Yep. I'm doing what I have at the moment, Joe.
Yes. Yeah. That's more as a reminder for everyone else, so like you're not running out of resources potentially.
Can I put a +1 rune on my mouth?
No.
You sure?
Rune that triggers a double shot on both splinter crit.
I don't know of one. I don't know all the runes though. There's a lot of runes.
And a lot of lords too.
True.
Is the Boastful Hunter a +1 already?
I think so.
I feel like he has his own stuff going on.
Yeah, I never ask. Let me look.
I can put a +1 on the flame sprayer.
You could.
Okay. So
How do I
far,
check the Boastful Hunter is a +1?
You'd have to check the you could do the raw math of your bonuses and the bonus that you get from attacking with him, but I can just look on your sheet and go to the equations that it's using and see if he's a +1.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Boastful Hunter, surprise, surprise, is already equipped with a potency and a striking rune, which probably why is you were dealing so much fucking damage when you crit because you're already loaded.
And striking. Okay.
God damn.
Can we look at Maddie's hammer really fast too?
Yes, I will open the Maddie sheet. Maddie's hammer.
72 health. Jesus
Her
fucking Christ,
hammer.
Maddie.
She has a weapon potency rune, but no striking rune. And then on the greatsword, the silver greatsword that she has, it has both.
So a striking rune for her hammer, more than likely.
Yes.
Which means there's one more striking rune up for grabs. Because I'm assuming these things don't stack. Like if you put 2 weapon potencies, it doesn't turn into a +2, does it?
They do, I
Correct.
want it.
Okay.
No, they don't, unfortunately.
Alright, give me the knife. Give me the knife. Putting a +1 on Michonne's dagger.
Thank you, Willow.
And then that's 2, 3, 4. Boastful Hunter doesn't have, like, can't apply any of this to. So the only other weapon that doesn't have a +1 already is Pierre's gun.
He threw that away.
Yeah, he
He
got rid
did
of
that.
it. He fucking left it in the woods.
God damn it, Pierre. Or wait a second. Michonne also has brass knuckles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
Mhm.
going on the brass knuckles.
Give me the knucks.
Okay. And I will dig for more shit in the coming week.
Mhm. You are all free to dig around for neat items that you can find. And if you can find a way to reflavor it so that it's less magical and more technological, I'm also fine with that. But yeah, this is you are now you have put Willow in the Willow zone
Mm-hmm.
for maximum craftiness. It will take a few days to do all of the upgrades and stuff, but over the course of time that you guys are here, she'll be able to do all of it.
And I can do anything. I have magical crafting, so I can even do stuff that says it needs magic crafting for it.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
There you go.
anything you guys want. See, now I'm just. Don't ask me anything for the rest of the session. I'm looking at shit.
Willow is off to the races. It would seem. So, the theater is a pretty standard experience. The theater itself is a very elaborate building with a darker exterior, like a gray exterior, but there is a lot of art, and like the building itself domains, similar to what I said before with the fancy writing. It is on this too. Domains is like written in big bold letters: D''MANE''S. And there's like a ticket booth and everything, but there's no shows going on right now. And it is like the types of shows they have here are various in number. Like they have, of course, ballet performances, dance performances. They have band performances as well. They have plays. They'll have all sorts of like music and any type of show that you could really imagine or put on to a stage would be here. But getting here and trying to convince them to let you put on a magic show is not impossible, but it will require another diplomacy roll, which you will have your help as standard from Pierre. And whomever else wants to help. If anyone.
Willa could have just her up before they split up.
Sure. You might need to look pretty. Fluff, fluff, fluff.
Amy is not here.
Amy, no! Okay, fine. Then we are going to fast forward. We're going to zip back to our two goofy little guys who are in
We're so
a different,
goofy.
like at a slightly different time of day, still earlier in the day. We're still kind of in the past with them, but we're getting there. We're catching up. +1 armor rune. But for Aang and Hylas, you have successfully evaded any of the unwanted attention you might have gathered from the judges being like the local police force in the city. But you have dealt with the town crier, the town racist for the time being. As you are trekking through the town, like going door to door as you were, I just want to actually go ahead. Roll me 2 more diplomacy checks from both of you.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay.
Diplomacy. That's 1.
That's a good one. That's a
That's
real
minus
strong
2
one.
though. That's 14.
Yep. That's okay still. That's pretty up there. And another one. Another
Double 21s. Well, double 19s.
double 19s. Okay. Weird. My chat is freaking out. Why is it doing that? Huh. Nice. So between you and Hylas, you are both. Hold on. Music's gotta change. There we go. So, you are up or around exploring some more houses and doing your due diligence, checking houses, going basement to basement and shady spot to shady spot. At some point along the line, you encounter a particular house that it seems pretty plain on the surface, but as you get closer to it and see, there is a little posted up wooden sign. This is the last like building really in this section of the city. And it has the sign up that says Chemical Apothecary next to it. It's very nondescript. It almost seems like a home as well as a business front. Hold on, I got a request for a song. Okay, so Chemical Apothecary. Written in very plain letters. I assume you all enter.
Yeah. We'll head in. Well,
So
we'll
there's
head in if
no-
we're allowed in. It's a public building,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a public business, so the implication is you're invited in to conduct business, which
Mhm.
you're kind of conducting business. It's a
Yeah.
business enough. So you all press your way in, and there's a little ting ting as the little bell rings. And behind the counter, you see a man with. He's vaguely young. He seems maybe somewhere in his late 20s to early 30s. He has a mess of blonde hair and bright blue eyes, and he is wearing a suit with a high collar, or not a suit, a collared shirt, the high collared white shirt, and a vest, and what appears to be like a doctor's doctor's coat over top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he is casually sitting behind the counter, twiddling something between his thumb and finger. And then when you ring the bell, he immediately snaps to attention, just goes, "Oh, hello there. How can I help you? How can I help you?"
Oh.
After you.
So, yeah, did we see I don't know what looks like possibly a basement or lower
Yes.
quarters? Okay.
Yes, there was a basement window that you saw on the side of this building.
Yeah, Hylas chips his hat and goes, we're just having a look around.
Look around here? There for goods, I presume.
I think if we've been sticking with the same pitch that we're looking for a fugitive, it's probably no different here. Hylas says, not quite. I'm looking for someone. Fugitive.
Aang. Hyla says that, and Aang nods and looks to him. Hast thee a cellar?
Yeah, I have a cellar. Why?
And he seems a little like caught off guard by the question.
Aang sees this, looks to Hylas like, are we still good?
He kind of raises his eyebrows in place of a shrug.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not sure how to read the situation yet.
Aang will opt for explain more. Turn toward the man. We mean thee no harm. 'Tis only the fugitive that we seek has a habit of residing in cold and shady places.
This man, standing in this, like, the environment that you're standing in is a very apothecary science environment. There are jars and, like, shelves full of various medicinal things. It seems like he has a lot of different salves and potions and mixes and admixtures for sale, or ones that he could potentially brew up if you did not see it on the shelf already. But he looks at you, Aang, and he kind of leans in close, puts his hands on the counter, and goes,
You're really pale.
Aang just stands there and looks back at him. And she thinks to herself, maybe I should get like a darker veil or something. But she'll nod. She'll nod. Yes, thy eyes are keen.
Hylas is gonna look at the man, and he goes, "You're really blonde."
Oh, thanks. It runs in the family. I guess, if you're looking for a fugitive, I mean,
and he gestures around, like just kind of holds his hands out to the rest of the shop.
he's not here. I didn't catch your names. Are you with the judges?
Hylas very genuinely, pleasantly. The who?
Okay, so you're not local, huh?
No, sir.
He looks between you, Hylas, and Aang.
Mm-hmm. Aang's smiling.
Kind of raises, or like squints his eyes, and then he raises an eyebrow towards you, Hylas.
So, you're just a couple of people looking for a fugitive on your own. You bounty hunters?
Something like that.
Indeed, long do we search for hunt for bounty.
What are your names?
And he kind of squints his eyes, looking suspiciously, almost like he's caught you in a trap. Like, you have to tell me your name.
Yeah, Hylas isn't picking up on that vibe at all. He just kind of holds his hand out and goes, Hylas. You?
He will look at your hand, and then he'll kind of straighten himself up and shake your hand.
Lloyd Valentine.
Oh.
Wait a second. Valentine?
Valentine?
Valentine!
Like, I'm gonna have to pretend this means nothing to me.
Mm-hmm. Aang blinks for a second. Valentine?
Huh?
Dost
Yeah,
thou
why?
dost thou hath a sister by the name of Electra?
Yeah, I do. She's in Termarkt. Probably.
Aang shakes her head. No, she is not in Termarkt.
What? Yeah, she lives there.
Nod. Yes, but she hath, with my long pause as Aang tries to open her mouth and cannot. Dear one's sword run off.
Wait, hold on. Back up. You know my sister? And
Aang nods.
she was somewhere you saw her steal a sword. What?
Aang didn't see her steal the sword, so she can't nod to that.
He kind of puts one hand on his hip and one hand on his forehead, and he's just like, I don't understand. Were you traveling with her? Is she in town? Is she here?
Head shake.
What are you saying? I'm confused.
Hylas, do you want to take this one, or can you take this one? I don't.
Hylas
You were
is
never
trying-
in a session with Electra, right?
No, Hylas has never met Electra, but
Yep.
he's trying to piece together what you're saying. He tilts his head and goes, I think what the lady's trying to say is, she ran into your sister not too long ago. Small world.
Aang will nod.
Yeah.
And with her for a time I did travel.
Huh.
No, wait, Hawk mentioned going after.
Yeah, Electra. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so Hylas does know kind of like the situation.
Yeah,
He just never met the
Hawk,
woman.
Hawk explained it. Like, she stole it when in her sleep, and Hawk wanted to chase after her.
Yeah, Hylas kind of tilts his head and, in a moment of realization, turns to, Lloyd or Floyd?
Lloyd.
Oh, well, okay, to Hylas, that's Floyd now.
Oh my god.
Turns to him and goes, oh, right, I remember hearing about that. Who is Hawk to Aang, according to Hylas?
That you have to answer that question
Yeah.
yourself.
Um,
Aang has
Yeah,
never been
you're-
able to say that's her wife.
yeah, I did hear about that story, actually. Your sister made off with her wife's sword.
Very pleased Aang expression.
What? Lloyd looks perplexed. And what? What? Are you looking? Is the fugitive you're looking for my sister?
Not
Aang shakes her
completely-
head.
Completely unrelated story, but we'd be happy to tell you more if, let us have a look around. And he bats his eyelashes.
You can roll me a diplomacy check for eyelat bashing.
Does he get a bonus for his beautiful baby cow eyelashes?
No.
He can't win the day.
Can I assist him?
You can assist him.
Oh god.
Uh-huh.
That's a 12!
That's a +1. So on an 11, Lloyd looks up and down you, Hylas, and he looks over to Aang. And he just kind of gestures vaguely at you, Aang. He's like, would you lift the veil? It's weird talking to you through a screen.
Aang shifts a little bit. And she doesn't know how to handle that request, but she's trying to be, human shaped, and so she'll lift the veil.
Thank you. And you are really pale. Are you sick?
Aang shakes. Can't she shake her head? She will nod. I don't think she can say she's not sick. But it be no problem for thee. 'Tis a malady of the forest born.
I mean, hey, it says apothecary on the door. That's what I do. But look, just you stay here. Feel free to look around the room, I guess, for your fugitive. But I'm gonna make tea, and then I want to know more about what you knew about my sister, because that is a whole can of worms. He will take a step back to go and make tea. Is there anything you discussed while he's not in the room?
Hylas turns to Aang and goes, Didn't even give us permission to go in the basement.
Aang will nod. 'Tis strange. Thinkest thee it had to do with my veil?
Hylas sort of looks at Aang, unveiled. And I feel like with the words of the town crier sort of resonating with him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, how striking are her features? Does she have like kind of a glamour on concealing her like eyes or anything?
I was just about to say, I don't believe Hylas has ever rolled the Aang save.
No. I don't know how close Hylas is standing to Aang right now.
Well, they're linking arms.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's a good point. So being this close to Aang and like looking her in the eye, Hylas, roll me a will save.
Okay. Let me find that. Oh, there it is.
Oh no!
You think, I mean, y'all think Hylas has pretty eyelashes, but Hylas thinks Aang has pretty eyelashes. It is a very strange, bewitching sensation that comes over you, Hylas. Like being this close to Aang and like looking, like actually seeing her face and kind of examining it past the veil, or with no veil in the way. She has a striking, ethereal kind of beauty to her, and it kind of pulls you in a little bit physically and a little bit mentally. You're just kind of drawn to it. And it's, I don't know how you would want to play that, but it is a fuzzy-headed sensation.
I'm thinking how I want to play this too.
Uh-huh.
Given I think I know some things about Hylas that he does not know about himself.
Hylas doesn't know a lot about himself, man.
That's true. I think he sort of goes like slack-jawed for a moment, and he clears his throat and just sort of puts his hand on the top of his hat and sort of like covers his eyes with it, brings it down past his eye level, and he just sort of looks away.
Doesn't say anything though, huh?
No. I think there's sort of an uncomfortable vibe that comes over him.
I think Aang, noticing this, the math falls into place in her head. This happens all the time to her when she's not veiled. So I think she notices that, looks up at him, and sort of loosens her grip on his arm a little bit. Hylas, should I step away for a moment?
I think he's looking away and he just goes, yeah, no.
The first time he says yeah, Aang will just quietly step just a little bit away. She doesn't seem upset by it at all. She's just like, I understand. Take your time.
He looks a little bit frazzled, just sort of looking off, and he goes, sorry, I don't know why.
'Tis no fault of thine. 'Tis only my nature.
Your nature?
Aang will nod. She looks around for a second. How far away is what's his face?
Lloyd?
Yeah.
He's maybe like 20 feet away. He's like behind a door in another room, but it's not, there's no doorway between you and him. It's just an open threshold.
I think Aang will say more quietly to Hylas, and I think she'll like move as if she's going to go check out a shelf or something, so she has an excuse to pass him as she's saying this. I was crafted a bride to be. Therefore, many find me enchanting.
Sort of puzzled look over his face. And he just kind of tries to accept the information at face value. He goes, oh. I guess that makes sense. And the end of that sentence kind of indicates that no, it doesn't, but he's trying to make it make sense.
Aang looks over her shoulder sympathetically. What I mean to say is, thou canst blame Alexandria for it.
He's kind of like scratching the back of his head, and he goes, it's just kind of weird for me.
Aang will nod. She understands. And she looks to the wall of things. I believe I shall peruse the offerings. How does that sound, Hylas?
Yeah, I'll peruse 2. That way.
Yes.
He kind of gestures to the opposite end of the building.
As you go to peruse the opposite end of the room, Lloyd comes back out. He has tea. He has extra glasses, or cups rather. He has extra cups with him, and just goes, "All right, I got drinks if you want them. But my sister stole a sword. You were traveling with her. Why are you traveling with her?"
Man, I think I can weasel this one, but only in a way that matters to me. Aang will nod. As my companion said, we were traveling with my wife. She is a hunter of great renown. And so that was the nature of our excursion.
He narrows his eyes kind of suspiciously. Yeah, she is a really good hunter. Her and Cliff and Dono are always really good at it. He kind of shakes his head and takes a sip of tea. They're gonna get themselves killed.
Aang just sips the tea, doesn't say anything.
I think Hylas
So-
is still looking at the shelves in earshot, but not really wanting to sit down in the close proximity for tea time.
He continues on and shakes his head and just goes, "You're looking for a fugitive unrelated to my sister? Where is my sister? She was traveling with you, but she's not anymore, so what happened?"
As I said, she made off with the sword, and thus my wife has set off after her, as Hylas said.
Sword, huh? Why would she steal a sword? So you
Tis
don't
a
know where she
fine-
is right now.
Aang will shake her head. 'Tis a fine blade.
Okay. And that has nothing to do with the fugitive you're hunting right now?
Not for me.
Why are you guys looking for a fugitive? I mean, I guess that's what you would do with a missing fugitive, but why you guys? Why not tell the judges? I mean, you don't know who they are. Just why are you looking for him?
As I mentioned, all of us, the group that we were traveling with, were either hunters or those with the skills to support a hunter. And that is the nature of our duties here as well.
Okay. Wait. You didn't tell me your name. Pointing at Aang.
Does he ask, or does he just say?
He just says,
There's a slight tightening in Aang's expression, but she doesn't say anything because he did not ask.
he kind of furrows his brow and squints his eyes again, which he's doing a lot. He's kind of like got this permanent look of, I don't fully understand or trust what's going on. But he brings his tea up to his mouth and takes a sip, and he'll like lean over and get closer to Aang's face. Not super close, not bewitching close, but he leans in to get a better look at her face past the veil.
Oh, she's put it up still. It's still up. You requested it
Well,
up, so.
Yeah. So he looks a little bit closer, without the veil in the way, and he just goes, "You look really pale, like not human pale."
Aang will just stare back at him. As I told thee, I am wrought with affliction at present.
What affliction?
I fear if I tell thee, it may upset thee.
Will it infect me?
There's a soft smile from Aang. As actually, she looks him up and down. Does he seem like the type to be eaten? Does he seem delicious? How delicious does he look?
What? That's not a stat. I fucking.
What the fuck do you mean that's not a stat, Joe? You have to have that on hand.
He looks. I mean, he's got the kind of like just shaggy hair, goatee vibe that's like in a rugged, handsome kind of way. So he's a snack.
Okay.
But like, I mean, in terms of how delicious he looks, he's like probably Pierre level.
It's pretty delicious.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Wait,
That's
Pierre's the most
pretty
delicious in the
delicious.
party.
Aang looks back at him as he asks if it's infectious, and she softly smiles. No, 'tis not infectious.
Okay.
He looks over to Hylas.
Hylas looks over to him.
Are you a hunter from Termarkt?
He shakes his head.
You said your group. Who all's in your group?
Not asking any of them either of them in particular. Kind of like looking between both of them, asking this question.
Hylas sort of raises his eyebrows and goes, you're asking a lot of questions.
He opens his mouth, and you can see there's going to be he's going to get like a smarmy comment out, but he bites it back.
Yeah. Sorry. Just kind of curious who walked in my front door.
Don't get a lot of customers. Hylas
Oh, I
looks
get-
at what's on the shelf in front of him.
There's like pickled stuff and like weird jars full of plants and herbs and extracts. He like puts a hand on the table and he just goes, "No, I get plenty of customers, but I don't get people who are looking to just look for a fugitive in my house."
Well, we've been looking all over we've been looking all through all sorts of houses.
He'll just
You're
let
not
you do
special.
that?
Nod.
Yeah, till we came here.
Look, if you want to buy something, buy it. But otherwise, you're not getting in my basement.
Hmm.
I feel like this guy is suspicious in the sense that we were talking about where this is something completely unrelated to the thing we're searching for.
Yeah, I feel that the meth lab's in this
This
basement for
guy's
sure.
got the meth lab.
Man.
Hylas senses that we're going to be kicked out sooner or later. So I think he smiles. And he just points to a random jar and goes, "What's this?"
He raises an eyebrow, and he'll tell you what it is. It's some kind of extract that's meant to alleviate like flu-like symptoms. I don't know enough about extracts to give you a name, so that I'm just
That's
giving
okay.
that shit away.
Yeah, alright. Do you
he looks.
collect all this stuff yourself?
He raises an eyebrow.
I collect it and make it. I do all that stuff on my own. I am an apothecary. Or I run an apothecary. I'm a doctor. And you, he points to Aang. I'm not convinced you're just sick, he says in quotation marks. if you're a weirdling, it's okay. They're friendly here, at least for the most part. We're not like Terramarked. But if you're sick, I can help you.
Aang will tilt her head. I am something of a curiosity. If I consent to thy prodding, can we the basement search?
No.
It was worth a try.
Yeah, it was, honestly.
Worth a shot.
It would have worked on Willow.
Look, man.
That's the extent of Aang's like knowledge of doctors and like curious people. She's like, oh, this would have worked on Willow.
I will say there's a part where you're like, if I let you poke and prod and his eyes get a little brighter, like, okay, I'm interested. Will you let us search your basement? Flat now. Completely loses the magic in his eyes.
Well, where do you do your checkups?
Where do I do my checkups? I have a room in the back. Do you need a checkup? Are you sick?
Talking to Hylas.
Wait a second. If he's checking on Aang, he can't watch Hylas.
Yeah, you're on my wavelength. Hylas very smugly goes, no, I'm asking for the lady.
I still haven't gotten your name. What is your name?
Shit. He asks directly, and I don't think Hylas has seen this before, because I think the only person who has done this before is Paige. Aang, there's a physical reaction when he asks her the third time, and it looks uncomfortable. Like, it looks like she's just gotten shocked or something like that, where there's just this full body just twinge, right? And then she sighs. My name is Angharad.
Angharad. Okay. Was that so hard?
Yes.
He kind of blinks and raises an eyebrow. He doesn't really know what to make of that.
Well, Angharad, if you're sick, I can help you if you want to step into my office back here. But if not,
He looks very pointedly at the door.
I think Aang will take a deep breath. 'Twould be good to have, as they say, a second opinion.
Great. Then I guess come on back.
She'll
He
follow him.
I assume neither of you drank any of the tea.
No, Aang drank some of it. She would never turn
did?
down hospitality.
Okay.
Hylas didn't.
He like notices Hylas's cup is still full, so he just takes Hylas's cup and starts sipping from it next. And you, trustingly, whether it's a good idea or not, you follow Lloyd into the back office where he has a little doctor's chair set up with a few tables and a little like wheelie cart with instruments on it.
Aang is
And he will.
very deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. We'll get through it.
Aang doesn't have shoes on right now, right?
No.
Okay. How do you think hoof sounds on wood?
Distinct.
Yeah, distinct. Like, chunk.
Okay.
She be clopping.
Yeah, there's like a chunk clop, I think.
He takes a few steps towards his office, and then he hears the weird footsteps, and he turns around and looks back, and like he doesn't see anything out of the ordinary. He just sees Aang and Hylas standing there, which I mean is out of the ordinary in one sense, but he doesn't know that. So he's just like,
Come on back and
he'll gesture you to the back. And as you are walking through, the pathway here is like you have the front area, which is a square or like a rectangular area where the front door is on one side, and then there's a desk, like a countertop, for the actual transaction. And then there's behind the countertop where there's a doorway into the back area. And then through that little back doorway, it leads to a hall. And in one door, there's a closet. And in another doorway, there is the little office he has. And at the end of the hall, tucked in the corner, is a hatch on the floor.
Ah. Now, is that the only entrance to the basement that we have seen?
That you have seen, yes.
Okay.
There was not one outside.
All right.
Okay. But he gestures you in, Aang. And he waits for Hylas to come in too, because he's expecting 2 people in there.
I think right now, Hylas is just gonna kind of take a note of the hatch and walk in.
Okay. So, he will gesture you sit down, Aang. And at this point, with the amount of walking that you've done, Aang, and like sitting up in the chair, he knows that your footsteps are the weird footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my
But-
spurs jangling.
He does hear the spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle.
The guards were
Uh,
alerted by the loud ass clap of your spurs.
As you take a seat in the little reclining doctor's chair, he will come forward, and the first thing he does is he will pull out a needle and blood bag to draw blood, or a not a blood bag, a glass like canister that's hung up, and he's going to immediately start to draw blood, which
Mhm.
I don't think either of you are familiar with doctor stuff.
No.
But this is out of the ordinary.
I think Hylas goes, he kind of kneels by Aang in the patient chair, sort of like holding her hand for support. And as soon as like the needle comes out, it's like going in her arm, her other arm, I assume. He sort of wide-eyed goes, "What is that? What are you doing?"
Drawing blood.
There's just a wide-eyed blank stare that implies, "Say more?"
He blinks for a second. And he just goes, I'm checking for blood disease. I have to see the blood to be able to do that.
His eyes aren't as wide. There's a little bit of less tension in his shoulders.
He kind of looks at Hylas suspiciously, and then will continue with the process. And he will wipe your arm, Aang, and he will stick the needle and draw some blood.
Uh-huh.
But
Take 5 damage. Yeah, I understand.
yeah, the needle, he
Oh,
puts
shit.
it onto your skin, and there is immediate like sting of the metal, which I don't think the actual sound is sizzling, but the skin would start to blacken around the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts drawing blood, and you can see his like attention is elsewhere as he sees the blood drawing, and he like looks away at the glass jar to make sure that he's drawing enough. And then he kind of like reaches over and grabs some papers, and he starts grabbing a pencil to write some stuff down. And then as he's kind of fiddling with a bunch of other stuff, he looks back up and then looks at your arm and sees the blackening edge around the edge of the needle. And he's
Mhm.
like, what? And he will reach over and kind of poke and prod at it, like, hold on. And now he seems very concerned. He will withdraw the needle. And he will set it aside and start to examine your skin. What the fuck?
happened? You are sick.
Aang is like barely holding it together. She is holding it together because, by God, they needed to get to that basement. She was given a task.
He like stands up and then like maneuvers himself in such a way that he's not looking in the same direction that Hylas is standing. So he's kind of standing in this like, I need to fully position myself to examine her now. This would be like the optimal moment for Hylas to sneak away.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Hylas kind of zeroes in on this opportunity. He might actually play up being perturbed by the drawing of blood.
Okay.
So I think he looks at Aang, and then like looks at the door, kind of for like, should I? Like,
There's
is he okay here?
Aang like sucks in a breath, and she nods, and she kind of closes her eyes as she's nodding, as if she's coping with the pain. Because she kind of is coping with the pain, but also the emotional pain. And she will address the doctor again, try to get his attention again. "'Tis as I told thee, 'tis a serious affliction."
He like fussing over the wound and now looking at Aang in different areas. Is Aang sweating?
Can she sweat?
I imagine probably.
Then yes, she's probably sweating.
Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He like dabs at your sweat with a little rag and he just goes, I'm trying to think of a disease that I know that rots skin that isn't leprosy. And I'm drawing a blank. Give me a second. And he'll dab at your arm, make sure that you are in a decent enough safe position.
Mm-hmm.
Aang, the blood in the jar that you can see that he has collected,
Mm-hmm.
It swirls in a way that is most unnatural.
It's not great.
It has a sheen to it, like a silvery pearlescent sheen.
Hylas is going to take his hat off and start fanning himself with it, and he's gonna go, I can't do this.
Can't do what?
He's gonna kind of play up how, I don't know, like the blood procedure, making him woozy.
Yeah. Squeamish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he just kind of like looks over at the blood bag, looks over at Aang's arm, and he goes, oh, all this, it just makes me...
Aang will nod, and she, still with her eyes closed, "Hylas hath never before beheld my blood." Which is not a lie. He's never seen her bleed before.
Not a lie.
He turns to you, Aang, and then he turns back to Hylas, and he just goes, "Just wait in the hallway. I don't care." And he like will reach over and grab a book and start flipping through it, and you can hear him muttering under his breath, like, "Necrosis, necrosis, necrosis."
Hylas, it is like a, and he steps out of the room. Hang on, there's a knock on my door.
Uh-oh.
Be right back.
Aang in this chair right now, I think, feels about as afraid as I did when I was flying back from Miami, and I was terrified during the entire flight. And I just kept thinking to myself, you can't die while you're watching Madam Web. Be embarrassing.
Well, I think I heard something having an unnatural, like, sheen to it. What was that?
Aang's blood.
Okay.
It has a silvery pearlescent sheen.
Can I survival at my own blood?
Sure.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello. What are you survivaling?
Does
Or
she
what are you
know
trying to glean with the survival?
if that's because she's a fae or if something else is going on?
Okay. You can roll survival for that. You have no idea.
I
Could be
have
because
three
you're
hero.
Fae.
I have 3
Oh,
hero
yeah?
points. I will burn 1.
Uh-huh.
Why not? Are you kidding me?
You have no idea.
That's fine. That's fine.
This happened to Hylas earlier, too.
Yes.
Yeah, truly.
Seriously.
Third time's the charm.
No, I won't burn another.
Okay. So, yeah, like you're looking at it and you're so in pain from the blood drawing. You are immediately, or you're not immediately, you're just like unsure of like how to process everything. The blood looks magical and fey to you, but as to why it looks like that, you can't say.
Duly noted.
Hylas,
Yes.
you are standing in the hallway.
Yes, and I do believe the thing that comes next is a stealth check.
Mm-hmm. As you tiptoe a little bit further down the hallway than you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
Sir, remember to disengage the spurs.
Disengage the spurs.
He's got good stealth, so I feel like kind of like how house cats learn to hunt around the bells on their collars. He kind of knows how to navigate with the spurs on.
With the spurs, with the spurs.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Rolling.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's actually a bad roll.
Yeah, so you are tiptoeing down the hallway. Your spurs are not jingle jangle jingling.
What are the surroundings like? Like, is there
Oh,
anything of note in my periphery?
in the hallway here, it's very sparse. There are shelves with some extra storage containers, and like there are boxes that are empty boxes that you imagine are for storing other elements and chemicals and things. There are empty jars. He seems to have like a whole stock back here of empty mason jars and vials and flasks, just in case he needs them for more extracts, or if he needs to draw blood, or any sort of thing like that. There are stores and boxes of medical supplies and like extra needles. Though they're not disposable needles, these are the steel repurposable ones. But there are the little glass vials that go into a needle if you needed to inject something or withdraw something. There's all sorts of stuff kind of like stacked into different corners of the hallway, either up on a shelf or on in like a little dresser or like a little drawer or cabinet that is on the side of the wall. And then there's the door to what you imagine is a supply closet that is just down the hallway. And then there is the hatch, which, as you are kind of tiptoeing down the hallway now, you can roll me a perception check for any extreme details that you would want to pick up.
Yes. I'm gonna throw onto there. I would like to listen the closer I get to the hatch too.
Okay.
I keep forgetting it's not in this.
In the skill list, yeah.
Yeah, it's over on the side. Really?
Okay. I'm so sorry about these rolls, Hylas.
I'll take him. It's fine. It's fine. Literally, it's fine.
When it's fine. Okay. So, Hylas, as you are tiptoeing down the hallway, you're so focused on being quiet that you're not able to pick up any super minute details. What you do notice, you don't notice any sounds, but what you do notice is that as you tiptoe closer to the hatch, you get right up to it, and there is a huge, lock, like a big steel bolted lock on the hatch.
Do I recall seeing a key anywhere?
No.
Okay, so
I will leave it up to your imagination as to where the key could be.
all right.
Meanwhile, back in the doctor's office, Aang, you are under the microscope of this man who has elected to continue, trying to search for an answer here. And as part of his search for his answers, he closes the book and he looks at you, Aang. And he looks at the book, and then he looks at the needle. And he looks at you and says, Aang Harad, well, the only way for me to figure out what's ailing you is to experiment a little bit.
Oh no. Oh
So,
no.
he will reach over and he will pick up the needle.
Mhm.
And he opens his mouth and like he's going to explain something or ask a question. And then he just closes his mouth. And he will take the needle to you. And we're going to end here.
Do I take the 5 damage this time or next time?
Did you take 5 damage already?
Yeah.
Okay, you can take another 5 damage because he's going to stick you again.
Oh gosh. I've already lost 10 HP from a fucking needle. God bless.